어떻게 해야 되지? 탈씨 선생님, 이걸 탈씨.
잠깐만, 이게 왜 걸리고 있죠?
아, 이거 조건 때문에 그런가?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
네.
네, hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
could you share your presentation file?
왜 소리가?
Hello.
Yeah.
Anyone can hear me?
통역사님 시작해 주세요.
예.
네. 그 설명도
Yeah. Could you setting the translate button? Could you
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I cannot hear you before, but
Yes.
I can hear you now. So you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can. And please,
Okay.
setting.
Yes, I would like to do the task round. Just give me a second.
통역사님 지금 통역되고 있나요?
Could you see the presentation slides?
거기 채팅창에 좀 써주실 수 있나요?
So can you see the presentation slide what I shared?
Yes. Your presentation file is very okay.
Okay, thank you.
Could you go to the interpretation and English? On the bottom of the button, there is the button of the translation, interpretation.
Okay.
우리는 지금 뭘로 듣는 거예요? 사실 이걸로 듣는 거예요. 우리는 한국어 나오게 듣는 거예요?
Oh, sure.
영어 안
In
들려요?
the chatting, there is the detailed explanation about the interpretation.
Okay, so do you want me to share the presentation slide again? And you would like to do the translation test, right?
통역사님이 나와서 그냥 순차 통역으로 일단은 좀 해주시면 안 될까요? 네, 어떻게 해야 할까요?
네, 잠시만요. 예, 통역 종료하겠습니다. 예.
네.
네, 이제 말씀해 주시면 됩니다.
네,
네.
그래서 먼저 저희 통역사님이 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요. Hello,
네.
Dr. Tarsi. Are you there?
예, 탈씨.
Tarsi? Are you there?
이 사람이 닥터요? 첸씨 아니에요?
모르겠는데 혹시 그냥 공손하게 하려고 했습니다. Hello, Ms. Tarsi?
Hi.
Yes, actually there's no interpretation right at the moment, but we are
Oh.
going to enable the interpretation feature for later sessions.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah, so when the button appears on the bottom of the Zoom interface, please click the globe button that says interpretation and then go to
Which
English. Now there's
Oh,
not
okay.
the button
Yeah.
yet, but it'll appear soon. And by
Okay.
clicking the English button, you'll be able to hear the interpretation. They will speak in
Okay.
Korean and we'll be interpreting their speech into English.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got
ready?
it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
예, 이제 시작하겠습니다.
problem.
We start the translator right now.
And
Okay.
okay. And by the way, that's
Yeah.
because Dr. Chen, he
Mhm.
is actually another meeting right now, so maybe he will join the meeting later, at 11:30.
Okay, so our time 12:30. Okay.
그러면 일단 통역사님 그러면 지금 설정은 도와주신 것 같고 그렇죠? 그 다음에 이제 통역사님 다시 통역으로 들어가서 저희가 동시 통역이 되는지만 한번 실험해보고 잠깐 쉬었다가 11시 반에 현지 시간 11시 반에 하는 걸로 하시죠.
예, 통역사님 지금 통역 네, 한국어 채널입니다.
Yes,
그리고
I
탈씨
yes. I already see the button and already, yeah. That's another
you-
two option, right? One is in Korean, one is in English. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Please choose the English channel in the.
Okay, I got it. I will let
Yes,
the Dr. know. Thank you.
Yeah. Could you? 예, 그 탈씨도 지금 잉글리시 채널 했는지 확인을 좀 한번 해봐야 될 것 같아요. 했겠죠? 했나? 아, 지금 영상 잘 들린다고. 그럼 PT 좀 보여달라고. 네. 네, 그 PT 좀 공유해달라고 부탁해 주실 수 있을까요? 네.
Yeah, sure.
네.
Okay, so I played it in the full screen. Can you see the presentation slides?
예, 잘 보입니다.
Okay, thank you.
통역사님,
우리 또 해제를 해주시죠. 잠깐만.
네, 안녕하세요. 조공장입니다. 네, 네, 잘 부탁드리겠습니다. 저희 동시통역을 좀 시험 삼아 한 몇 문장만 해보고 싶습니다. 그리고 오늘 지금 들어와 계신 다른 분들도, 한국에서 들어오신 다른 분들도 이 통역으로 돼 있는데 눌러서 통역의 한국어를 선택해 주시면 들으실 수 있습니다. 나중에 중간에 다시 설명을 드리겠지만 일단 그런 상태에서 지금부터 한번 동시통역 시작해 보겠습니다. 네, 안녕하세요. 멀리 대만에서 참여해 주셔서 너무 감사합니다. 혹시 그쪽에 지금 잘 들리시면 대만에서도 말씀을 해주시면 좋겠습니다.
Yes, from my side, that's I can hear you speak in English.
네, 저희는 영어 얘기는 안 들리고 한국말 들리고 있으니까 잘 들리고 있는 것 같습니다. 다시 한 번만 더 대만도 한국말은 안 들리고 영어만 들리는지 확인 좀 해주십시오.
Yes, I only hear English.
네, 알겠습니다. 그러면 잠시 쉬었다가 11시 반에 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
이 화면은 틀어놓는 게 낫지 않아? 괜찮아.
Thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 그리고 선수 선생님은 한국 분들 위해서 채팅방에 통역 선택하는 방법 좀 올려주시고요.
네.
제가 써놨습니다.
올려놨어요? 오케이, 고맙습니다. 지금 우리는 이거 할 때 화면은 안 움직이는 거 같네요.
네, 화면이요?
내가 얘기해도 화면이 나한테 안 오네.
네, 이게 우리가 그래가지고
요 통화 버튼 누르면 안 돼요?
이거?
그냥 이거.
아, 자동으로 올리면 안 돼요.
이게
됐었던 것 같아요.
상태여가지고.
여기가 하나뿐이 없는데 이렇게
아니 그렇게 말고.
아니, 제 질문은 발언하는 사람한테 카메라가 이동해서 보여주잖아요.
거기에 지금 요 방은 안 되는 거.
이 방만 안 돼요?
안 돼요.
아니 요렇게 전체적으로 마이크가 되는 건 안 되고 849만 대만 하는 거.
아, 이게 막 마이크랑
이게
책상에
이용한
있는
세팅만
방만
해서
한다는 거죠? 안 돼. 그냥 여기서 확대를 하면 됩니다. 그래서 수반에 박사님이 주로 얘기하실 거면 박사님한테 확대해 볼까요?
제가 수동으로
그러니까 다음부터 그럼 저 방으로 합시다. 저 방에 이게 안 되는 거다. 옛날에 되는 줄 알았는데 안 되는 거다.
옛날에 이렇게 개별적으로 있었을 때 됐었는데
유치원이니까 어디서 나올지 모르니까. 그렇죠. 지금 꺼주시고 비켜주시고.
네. 이 정도 해요.
이렇게 생각하고
네, 가봅니다. 뒤에 배경 좀 흐리게 할까요?
네네.
화면 좀 음성으로 해주십시오.
아, 네, 풍력사님, 중국 그 대만 쪽 선생님들이 이제 그 발표 자료를 좀 띄워달라고 좀 말씀해 주시겠어요? 네. 네네네. 혹시
Yes, I can hear you. You. Yeah,
Hi. I will share the presentation slide for Dr. Chen.
yeah,
Yeah.
Cassie.
Okay, just
Okay.
let me know. Can you see the presentation slides?
So,
네, 고맙습니다.
Okay, thank you.
so may we start or just wait a moment?
왜 영어 말이 들리지? 잠시만요. 왜 영어 들리죠?
영어가 약하게
So sorry.
아니요, 계속 들리는 것 같으세요.
And hi, I would like
네,
to confirm if that,
그첸 선생님께서 말씀 좀 해봐 주실
Hello?
수 있을까요?
저 지금 영어 소리는 어디서 나는 거예요? 좀 소리 줄여주세요.
Yeah, okay. I'm a Tong Chen from the Bureau of
잠깐만
Energy,
들리는구나.
아니 첸
Taiwan. So I want to share some successful experience of the offshore wind energy in Taiwan. So do you hear me or is that clear?
네, 안녕하세요. 먼저 저희가 좀 인사 좀 드리고 시작할게요. 그 전체 화면 한국에서 오신 분들 어느 정도
오케이.
볼 수 있을까요?
Okay, let me.
센터장님 잠시만 기다려 주세요.
Yeah. Okay.
전체 들어온 사람들 다 보게 할 수 있는. 박상호 선생님 들어왔네. 네, 지금부터 시작하겠습니다. 먼저 지금부터 제2회 두 번째 해상풍력 글로벌 다이얼로그를 시작하겠습니다. 저는 KEI 한국환경연구원의 조공장입니다. 오늘 바쁘신데 참석해 주신 모든 분들께 감사 인사드립니다. 특히 대만에서 이번에 힘들게 초청에 응해주신 닥터 첸 씨께도 깊은 감사 말씀드립니다. 첸 씨께는 오늘 온라인 강의를 시작해서 앞으로도 좀 지속해서 저희와 교류하도록 부탁을 드리겠습니다. 배경을 간단히 말씀드리면 우리나라는 해상풍력 추진에 아직까지 많은 어려움을 가지고 있습니다. 가장 큰 어려움은 입지 선정 과정에 있습니다. 덴마크, 네덜란드 같은 유럽 나라들은 이미 센트럴 방식에 의해서 정부가 입지를 선정하고 입찰을 하는 텐더를 하는 방식을 취하고 있습니다. 또 아시아에서는 대만하고 일본이 선진적으로 이 텐더 방식을 도입했다고 듣고 있습니다. 한국은 이 텐더 방식 도입을 아직까지 못하고 있고 그래서 이 도입을 위해서 지금 저희가 연구를 하고 있습니다. 한국은 아직까지도 오픈플로우 방식으로 사업자가 입지를 선정하는 방식을 갖고 있기 때문에 국민과 어민들하고의 갈등 문제가 발생하고 또 사업 추진이 더뎌지는 이런 문제가 있습니다. 오늘 저희가 대만에서 궁금한 건 4가지입니다. 첫 번째, 텐더 제도가 어떻게 도입됐는지, 텐더 제도에서 정부의 역할이 어떤지가 첫 번째입니다. 두 번째, 입지를 선정할 때 그 입지를 선정하는 기준들이 어떻게 되는지가 두 번째입니다. 세 번째는 어민을 포함한 이해관계자와 어떤 커뮤니케이션을 하는지가 세 번째입니다. 네 번째는 인허가를 효율화하기 위한 싱글도어라고 해도 좋고요, 원스톱이라고 해도 좋고요. 이런 인허가 효율 방안이 어떤 게 있는지 이거를 좀 듣고 싶습니다. 이번에 좀 대만의 사례를 좀 저희가 많이 배워서 우리나라 제도 연구하는 데 도움이 됐으면 합니다. 한 30분 정도 발표해 주시고 질의응답을 1시간 정도 하고자 진행하겠습니다. 그리고 한국에서 오신 참석자분들께 일단 30분 동안 발표가 끝나면 그리고 중간에도 좋습니다. 질문사항이 있으면 질문을 채팅방에 올려주시면 제가 그중에 몇 개를 픽업해서 질문할 기회를 저희가 연락을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 그래서 채팅방에 자세하게 쓰실 필요는 없고 어떤 내용 질문하겠다만 주시면 제가 그걸 보고 선정을 하도록 하겠습니다. 자, 그럼 이제 첸 선생님 시작하시죠. 첸 박사님 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.
Okay, thank you. It's my pleasure. Hi everyone. It's my pleasure to have this opportunity to share some successful experience of Taiwan's offshore wind energy experience. I think that I think for the Korea side, I just wondering about some issue. First about the tendering mechanism, and what about the government's roles in this tendering mechanism? The second issue is concerned about the site, how to have the good side, especially for the government agents and the different, they maybe have a different opinion to the site. The third one is about stakeholder communication or the stakeholder negotiation, especially for the fishermen and the local community issues. And the final one will be about Taiwan's we so-called a single window service. And what's the role about a single service window? I think I can share some experience of the Taiwan. So maybe I'll start my presentation. My presentation will be some talk about a successful experience of Taiwan's offshore energy policy. And my presentation about four items. First will be about energy situation and the development in Taiwan. The second one is about the policy of the offshore energy in Taiwan. The third one, I think I have some question. I have some information that I just know about Korea's offshore wind energy development, especially for the procedures. The final one is about just mention Taiwan's law, how to access rate the wind power in Taiwan. The final one I have a short conclusion. Next, I think the first about the energy situation and development in Taiwan. Next one. I think from this slide, we have the whole picture of energy situation in Taiwan. I think over 98% of energy is imported from the other country. Means that energy security is important for Taiwan. And for the picture, we know that almost about 92% of energy is for the energy import. So I think it's also important. It's also important that for the carbon reduction issue, how to reach for the net zero carbon emission is the other issues. The third one, I think that Taiwan, also the South Korea and Japan, we are isolated power grid. So how to maintain the power stability is important for the Taiwan. So based on this issue, we think that we have two challenges. The energy securities. We have over 98% of energy is imported from the other country. The other one is carbon reduction. I think this is some of the Taiwan's challenge. So based on this energy supplies, I think we only at the year of 2021, we only have about 2.3 of our own energies. I think the first one will be about the biomass and the waste. The second one is about the solar and the wind. So how to increase our own renewable energies, our own green energies, our challenges. So next one, I want to share that the policy of the Taiwan for the year of 2025. We want to increase our energy independent. So I think that we want to increase our renewable energy from the year of 2021 is about 5%, and the year of 2025 will be about 16%. So based on this issue, I think we will increase our natural gas fired power and reduce coal-fired power generations. So at the year of 2025, I think we will be on schedule for the decommission of nuclear energy. So based on this issue, so we want to increase our green energy in the year of 2025. So this is our near-term policies. Our near-term policies means that, okay, we set a target for the year of 2025 will be the 29 giga in that time, installed renewable energy capacity in that time. So based on this target, we think that we set a two flagship project. First one will be the solar energies. The second one will be the offshore wind energy. So based on these two sides, so we will separate into, I think my presentation will be focused on the offshore wind energies. So next one. So I think for the year of 2050, the Taiwan government want to reach for the net zero emission in the year of 2050s. So based on the 2050s, to reach for the net zero emissions. So next one, I want to show that for the year of the 2050s, I think that the renewable energy will be about 60 to 70% of the power generation in that time. So based on the target, and I think the offshore wind energy, the target of the installed capacity of the offshore wind energy will be about 40 to the 55 giga in that time. So how to have the good side, to have the different kind of the offshore wind energy is important for the Taiwan. The other way, I think that for the hydrogen energy in that time will be about 9 to 12%. So first one, we want to increase our green energy in that time. So the 40 to the 55 giga for the offshore energy is our target in the year of 2050. And in the year of 2025 will be about 5.6 giga in the year of 2025. So we have a different target. So how to reach for the target for the offshore energy? I think I have a detailed information for all of you. Next one, I want to talk about the offshore wind energy policy in Taiwan. I think that for the year of 2012, we just announced we so-called a demonstration incentive program. We so-called a phase one. I think for the phase one, we announced in year of 2012 in that time. So for the 2021, we have complete all the demonstration wind farm. So for the phase one means that I think we have some main purpose. One is for the so-called regulation demonstration. You know that for the different government agents, we don't have such experience, so we don't know how to meet for the offshore energy, especially for the regulation. The second one purpose for the demonstration, the first one is not a technology validation. You know that in Taiwan, also in the Korea, we have the typhoon, we have the earthquake, but the people in Taiwan always curious about does the typhoon, does the earthquake will be damaged for the offshore wind turbine. So for the phase one, I think we have the good demonstration, we have a good validation for the regulation, for the technology. So all the demonstration wind farm will complete in year of 2021. So based on the successful experience for the phase one, we move to the second phase. The second phase means the zonal for the potential. I think we set a target of about 5.6 giga in the year of 2025. So For the target of 5.6 giga, we are separating into the two items. First will be by the selection. Selection means not okay. We have the good feed-in tariff. We have the good incentive. The price is higher than the other price. So we by the selection, we use the feed-in tariff. The price is about 5.5 NT dollars per kilowatt hours. So the capacity is about 3.8 for the selection. The auctions means that the low price will garner the right to develop. So the price is about 2.5 NT dollars per kilowatt hour. So the total capacity is about 1.6. And by the second phase, we also face some issue, just mentioned for the side issue. And the other one is about fishery association issue, fishery negotiation issues. So for the second phase, I think the government just announced what so-called sensitive areas. All the developers they can install the offshore wind energy in the region for the sensitive regions. So they only can install the offshore wind farm just outside for the sensitive regions. By the way, I think the Taiwan government also will have the so-called strategy environmental assessment. We'll put all the sites into the EPA, the Taiwan EPA, that the area will be good. Even for the other government agencies will not have a different opinion for the site. So we have the SEA in the region. The second phase will be a start in year of 2017. So by that time, the government we just finished for some SEA in this region, and also just urge the fishery agents in Taiwan to have the also called formula, especially for the compensation. And based on this compensation, all the developers they can negotiate with a different stakeholder, like the different local community and local fishery association. So based on the successful experience for the phase 1 and the phase 2, now the Taiwan will go to the third phase, with so-called zonal development. I think at the end of this year, we just the deadline of the deliver all the application. I think over the 90 application will be approved. Then the application total capacity is about 11.2 giga. But I think that for the each year will be announced about 1 giga per year. So based on this policy, we separate into the phase 1 and the phase 2. Phase 1 is some kind of validation for the regulation. The other one will be about technology validation. The second phase is about zonal of potential based on these regions. We just have some good procedure, like how to communicate with the EPA or even for the EIA, and to communicate with different stakeholders. The final one will be the year of 2026, 2 year of 2035, we so-called zonal development. So next one. So I just want to show some result for the phase 1, we so-called the demo incentive program. I think for the phase 1, we have the demonstration wind farm. One is for the Formosa 1. I think the Formosa 1 is from the JERA, from the Japan, Mercury from the Australia, Oist from the Denmark, and also have the other the owner from the other countries. The Formosa 1 will be about 128 and two for the 4 mega turbines. The other will be about 6 mega for the 21. And the other one is about the Thai power company. The power company, they also have a demo project, the offshore wind demo in the center of Taiwan. The total will be about 110 mega. So I think based on this demo, I think the government for the BOE will have an incentive for the pioneers, especially we have the incentive for the EIA, for the so-called winner application drone, and also have some incentive for the region. So based on that, we have a good incentive for the demo, so they can give some result, because I think that they will be the pioneer. So they have some issue. They maybe have some issue. So the bill will try to give some solution for the regulation, for the technology issues. So it's good for the Taiwan who just have the good experience for the demo for the first one. Then the next slide. Next slide means, okay, based on the good successful of the first one, so we go to the second phase for the runner of the potential. For just mention, for the runner potential, we are separate into the two items. First will be by the sedation. It will be the 3.8 giga in between the year of 2020 to the year of 2024. I think we have the given the wind farm. They will be owned by different company. That is Swanco. There will be some company from the local and from the United States. Macquarie is some company from the Australia. Jera is some company from the Denmark, and also have different company from the local and also from the United Kingdom and from the Germany. By the auction, we have just mentioned the auction price is about 2.5 NT dollars per kilowatt hour. So they will be commissioned in year of 2025. So we have the 4 wind farm. The wind farm will be commissioned in year of 2025 or the year of 2026. So they are all the second phase wind farm. They are under construction at this moment. So next one. Next one, I want to show the so-called the second phase. I think just mentioned that for the tendering mechanism. What about the government's law? I think I want to have the detailed information for all of you. I think the first will be about, I think the bill will announce for the direction of the application of offshore wind dam runner development. I think based on this one, I think that we have a detailed game mechanic, not all the development for the year of 2026 to the year of 2035, we will announce 1.5 giga per year, and we will round one will be about 2 years, year of 2026 to the 27, and 1 year is about 1.5 giga. So the two year will be about 3 giga in that time, and the installation time will be end of this years, the Q4 for the year of 2025. So the second round will be the year of 2026 to and also the 29, and they have the similar allocation capacity is about 3 giga. And the selection year will be the next year, and the round 3 will be the year of 2025. And by the also called the second the year of 2033, 32 and 2035, the total release capacity will be about 6 giga. I think it will based on these regions. maybe we have some new technology like the 14 technology will be installed in the year of 2032. So based on the game rule, I think we will separate into the two issues. First will be about capacity review. I think all the people, they must have followed the rule. First will be not they have the capability to finish all the wind farm in their commission years. The second review will be about they must follow the so-called industrial relevance project. They must have some project to help our local supply chain to build their capacities. So based on the review, okay, they are qualified, so they can go to the bidding price. The bidding price means not, okay, if the low price, they can got the right to develop all the wind farm. So we separate into the two items. First one will be the capability review. They must follow the rule. They must show that they have the capability to finish the wind farm in the commission year. The second item, the second criterion will be about they must follow the so-called industrial relevance project to help our local supply chain to build their capabilities. So the second will be about the bidding. I think for this time we just go to the so-called round one. I think we have the 9 developed. They have the 11 project in the they just deliver before the end of the September. So maybe go to the next one. Next one will be talk about next slide. Hello, Tasi. Okay. Next slide will be focused on the 14 offshore wind demonstration program. I think for the Taiwan, we based on the successful of the fixed bottom offshore wind energy. I think we will start for the 14 demonstration demonstration offshore wind farm at the end of this year. I think we have some draft. The total capacity will be about 100 mega, and each single farm wind farm will be about 50 mega. And the qualification that they must got the EI approved from the EPA, and based on the mechanics about technology and also the financial issues, also for the promotion and validation. And based on the 14 technologies, I think the Taiwan will have the bidding tariff for the, especially for the 14 demonstration wind farm. For the bottom fix, we just mentioned that we use the bidding process. We don't have the bidding tariff for, especially for the bottom fix wind turbine. But for the 14, we have the bidding tariff for the 14 technologies. So we will announce for the demonstration project in the Q4 for this year. And our draft will be the grid commission year will be year of 2026. So maybe in the year of 2006, we have some new 14 offshore turbine in Taiwan. So go to the next one. Next one, I think I want to share some experience between the Taiwan and Korea's. Next one. I think for this slide, just some people from the South Korea, they just talk about the process of the developing an offshore wind farm in the South Korea. So from the stage 1 to the stage 6, they are, I think they need to negotiate with the local and also get some permit from the different stakeholder. For the stage 7, I think that for the speakers, since that the EPL means that electricity business license is not easy to get the EPL for the South Korea, and from the stage 8 and the stage 9, I think for to have the offshore wind farm in South Korea, they must got some I think the EIA for the military communication, also the fishery damage or the fishery negotiation, and the maritime traffic safety or some other issues. I think in Taiwan, I will show you that in Taiwan, I think for the site, okay, we are open, except that the government will be announced for the sensitive regions. Not all the development they can have the wind farm in the regions. By the other ways, I think in the Taiwan we also need some the stage the step 9. Okay, they must go to EIA, they must go to communicate with different stakeholder like the Ministry of the Ministry of Transportation and Communication or the other agents. I think we have the similar procedure, but I think later I will talk about. I think that we will be in the parallel step, not in the serious step, because I think all development, I think time is money, so they need a short time to gather the approve. So all the development they can go to the EIA for the EPA and go to consult with different government agents, and based on these procedures, so that's good for the developer. They can gather the approve in the short term. So I think that the other issue is not okay. Why the local fishery association, also the fishermen, they want accept for this project, or even the local government, why they want to accept for this project? I think in the Taiwan's experience for the local government or local communities, I think that for the money for the land rent, I think the central government will put the half of the rent into the local government, and the other will belong to the central government. So I think local government they can guard about I think for the they can get some good amount about the money per year to get to approve for the project, and by the local fishery association, also the fishermen, they also can get some income from the some compensation from the developer. So they will be approved for this project if they want to have a negotiation with the different the developer. So we have some good cooperation or negotiation the process. So maybe go to the next one. Next one will be focused on the Taiwan. Or just mention that okay, for the second phase, we so-called zonal development in Taiwan, we are separate into the four steps. First will be about the site planning demonstration. I think the site will be not in the so-called sensitive areas, sea areas. So without these areas, so they can plan any site in the Taiwan Strait, so they can plan any site, except the areas will be not sensitive sea areas. So if the developer they choose the site, means now they must have some so-called planning. They must got the EIA from the EPA. They must have some negotiate with the fishery association. But I think for this the planning stage, the BOE will organize a meeting. We invite the different government, different public sector stakeholder, like the Minister of Transportation, Communication, like the Minister of Defense, and the other government agent to join the meeting for the site. Does any government agent, they have a different opinion? If they have different opinion, means that, okay, the site will be good. So we have the also called a review meeting between different government agents, especially for the site. The developer must have detailed information about site. If the different government agent they doesn't have the different opinion, means that the site will be okay to build the offshore wind energies. So based on all the different government agents will be agree for the site, and the BOE will put the project into the EPA for the EIA for the environmental impact assessment. If the different government agent have the they have a different opinion for the site, for the project, I think the BOE will not pass for this project to the EPA for the EIA. So I think for the site planning, the BOE will invite the different government agent for the review. If they all the different doesn't have the different opinion, means that the site will be okay. If they have a different opinion, means that the site will be not good for the offshore energy. The BOE will not send this project to the EPA. And for the second issue is about the EIA review. I think it just mentioned that in the second phase, the BOE, we have the SEA procedures. So we have the common rule, especially for the offshore wind farm. So based on this rule, the task force means now they review only in the ecology and also the environmental impact. They will not concern about the other issue, like the fishery negotiation. For the EI review, they only concern about the ecology and also environmental impact issues. Doesn't concern about, I think maybe for the meeting, maybe they have a different stakeholder, like the NGO, like the fishery, they maybe have the voice in the EIA meetings, but for the task force, they doesn't they will not concern about the other issues. So and also the staff from the BOE will join the meeting and try to persuade for the environmental issue. And the staff of the POE will be encouraged. The staff of the EIA, not for the government agents of the BIA, we are agreed to pass for this project. But if the member of the task force of the EIA, they maybe have a different opinion, like the noise of the hammering or the other issue. Okay, they must have some project to counter for these issues. So based on this issue, if they got the EIA approved from the task force, means that they can join our selection procedures. Selection procedures means that they must gotta have the EIA procedure, EIA approved procedure from the EPA, and following the other issues, they must got the EEL, means the electricity enterprise license. By the procedures, the BOE will be do our best to help for the development to get the permit. If they have some project or if they have some reason, I think the BOE will try to give the help. You know, not just mention time is money. If the develop, they have the project over maybe 5 or 10 years. I think all developers they will be quit for the project. So maybe go to next slide. And for this slide, I just want to say that okay, the BOEs know how to set a rating for the wind power procedure in Taiwan. First will be about just mention that the EIA they must have the visually negotiation. They have some act they must do, they must pass. So I think our high level meeting means that okay, all the procedure will be into the parallel review, not into the serial review. You know, if into the serial review means that they will be waste much time. So the develop they can have the final decision maybe in 5 or 10 years. So into the parallel review means that okay, they can get a final decision maybe in 1 or 2 years. If the process doesn't get the EIA, means that they will quit for the project. If all develop, they know the final decision as soon as possible. I think it's good for all the develop. The second issue is about the visually association. I think we have some formula. All the develop, they just follow the formula and to negotiate with our local visually association. I think it's good for the good experience for the Taiwan. The second item, I think is one-stop service. Just mentioned we have the service window, especially for the offshore wind energy. I think that the office mission is to collect all the information. If the developer, they maybe have some trouble, they maybe have some regulation. So the office will collect all the information and know all the question and try to find a good solution based on their question collected by the project office. I think BOE will contact with the countering government agents, try to have the process. If the countering government agents maybe they doesn't agree or they have a different opinion, I think we'll into the high level meeting. You know that the high level meeting for the Taiwan, when the vice premier will holding the meeting, try to advise for the different opinion from the different government agents. So in the Taiwan vice premier will hold the meeting to negotiate with different government agents. If the government, the other government, they have the reasonable, they have some reason that for the wind farm is not good for their, maybe for their duties. So we will try to give all the developer to quit for the project. If the government agent they have a good reason, I think we will try to force the other government agent to maybe modify or review all the regulation, try to have the wind farm in the regions. So the other one is just the final one. We have the high level interior administration coordination meetings. I think for the Minister of Coming Affairs, we will go to have the communication with transportation, even for the agricultural department, try to have a settle for all the issue. If they have a different opinion, we have put the issue into the vice premier meeting. I try to have a good solution. This one. This one is about, as I just mentioned, that we have a joint review mechanism. And for this slide, Minister of Coming Affairs release also called a sensitive sea areas and guidance for the side plane site. We will try to have the picture that for this region or the development, they can have the wind farm in this region. I think based on this region, we have got some opinion from the agriculture, from the cable route plan, from the ecology region like the white dolphin in Taiwan, and the bird or something like this, and also the complete they must have the decommission plan. So for the region, we just announced all the region that now there will be the sensitive areas. So all the develop they can have the project in that regions. So based on this background information, all development will be try to have their own wind farm, maybe in some region, or maybe the two development will be overlap. Overlap will be okay. So based on the region, they must for the preliminary review. And the means of coming affair will hold the joint review meeting, invite different different government agents like the minister of the defense, or also Ministry of the Transportation. If they have a different objection, means not they will be agreed. If they have a different opinion, they will be correct for the project. So there will be also called a joint review meeting, and with the different government agents try to find the site is good or not good. If the site is that doesn't have the opinion, means that we'll pass the project into the EPA for the EIA review. The second, the next slide. And the next slide, I think for the EIA review, just for mention for the SEA in the second phase, we are separate into the three items. First will be the in plain stage. They must have some also called avoid ecology sensitive areas, and also have some surveillance data from the plain stage. Then the second stage will be the construction stage. I think for the construction stage, I think all the member for the EIA, they will be concerned about noise. And do you have any mitigation project? Try to have the good project to decrease for the ecology and the environmental issues. And finally will be about operation. Operation means that they must all develop. They must have some monitor for the ecology for the region, maybe for the 5 or 20 years. And they must have some fishery cooperation with our local fishery association. And for the EIA issues, I think we have some ecology and environmental mitigation measured by the case, like the EIA report, like the preliminary review for the task force, and also have the EIA conference. We will share some experience to all development. That if maybe in some region, I think if you want to get the proof from the EIA, you must do something like this. Or next one was to talk about so-called visually communication, visually negotiation. For the visually agents, for the visually administration unit, they have some so-called formula for the compensation. Okay, maybe in the region, especially for the construction areas, it's not good for the local fishery activities. So the fishery administration, they have set some formula for the compensation. I think for the slide, they will separate into the wind farm and the cable and the region between the wind farm. And they have some formula based on some fishery activity, the parameter of the fishery activity in that regions. Based on this formula, I think the develop, they can have some information to communicate with the local fishermen or local association. And by the way, I think the developer is not easy to communicate with the local fishery association. So the BOE, the Bureau of Energy, and the fishermen fishery administration will have some platform. We invite the developer to join the platform, and also the fishery administration also invited the fishermen and also the fishery association to the platform for the discussion. Does the compensation is good enough, or maybe they have a different opinion or something else? So for the platform is trying to speed up all the negotiation issues. You know that maybe for the negotiation, maybe have 2 or 3 years for the just for the negotiation. But based on this platform and some formula for the compensation, I think it's good for the develop and the fishery association to have the good target. You know that based on this formula, they can have some target to negotiation. And the BOE and the fishery administration also invite both sides to join the platform. So based on this issue, we can have the also called the speed up for the negotiation. I think it's some kind of the visually communication based on the second phase experience. I think we just to have the good formula for the communication and the platform for the negotiation based on the government agents and the develop and the local fishermen associations. Next one. Next one, well, I just want to think that we have the bidding process, but we want to know which one was the capability to finish all the project. So based on the bidding process, we have the capability review. We will try to have some technology capability review, financial capability review. Based on these 2 reviews, they must have about 7 scores or more or above, and also have the also called industrial relevance plan. They must have some reach for some careers. Based on if they pass for the capability review, they will go to the bidding process. Based on the bidding price, if the price level will be low, they got the right to develop. And okay, if they have the same price, I think the additional industrial relevance project, if they have the higher score for the IRP project, they will got the right to develop. And based on the, we have some priority for the price. And based on these priorities, will the BOE will be allocated for the grid connection capacity for the different wind farm, and also help for the developer to apply for the EL, the electricity enterprise license. So I think that is our the process. Next slide. And next, we have the short conclusion. I think green energy is the core of energy transition in year of 2025 for the Taiwan. For the Taiwan, we will reach about 5 giga in the year of 2025, and by the year of 2050 will be the 40 to the 55 giga in that time. So we must have a good procedure, and the government will be all do our best to have all developed as soon as possible. They will gather all the permit in the short time. You know that if they got they will be with about 3 or 3 times to got some one single permit. Means not they must do all the permit maybe over the 5 to 10 years. I think it's too long for the developer to got a permit. The third one, based on the demonstration project, we are complete all the regulation procedure and all the technology procedure in Taiwan, and based on the first one experience, so we will go to the second phase in the year of 2017, and go to the third phase in the year of 2021, and we will release 1 giga per year from the year of 2026 to the year of 2035. I think it's all my presentation. I just talk about mention that for the second phase for the tendering procedures. I think the tendering procedure means that the low price will be got right, and the government, the laws is trying to create a platform, and we will make sure all the developers can have the capability to do the project on time. So capability review is important for the government to review each development's capability. The second issue is about the site. Okay, I think for the Taiwan's experience, we are open. We announce some sensitive areas. All the developers, they can have the wind farm in the sensitive areas. Sensitive area means not a navigation land for some region, for the nature, the midst of the events. They are maybe have some region they are not permit to have the wind farm, and for some region, for the ecology regions, they also can have the wind farm in that region. So for the site solution, we are open. If the developer they want to have their site, okay, they just follow the rule. They must have the planning, and before the EIA, I think the BOE will have the joint review meeting, invite a different government agent to have the joint review meeting, review all for the project. And the third one is about how to negotiate with the local community or the fishery association. Based on our experience, we must have some money, or we must have some compensation money to the local community, to the local fishery association. But the compensation is based on the formula. Maybe for the different region, they have a different form. They have the same formula, but have a different parameter. So the parameter is based on their fishery activities in the past 10 years or the past 20 years. So based on this formula, so they can get some compensation to the local government, local community, even the local fishery association. And just mention a single window office is just collect all the issues from the different stakeholders, like the local government, local community, even local fishery association, even the local supply chain. So they can get all the information. Based on the information, I think they will pass to the BOE. BOE will try to negotiate with different government agents or the different stakeholders. So for my experience, I will go to the local fishery association maybe more than 20 times. Just talk about how to negotiate with the compensation issues. And we just have some so-called how to balance for the fishery activity and the green energies. So for my experience, I will go to the local fishery association maybe more than 20 times, try to have the good information. Okay, that's all my presentation.
네, 발표 잘 들었습니다. 굉장히 진행이 잘 되는 것 같고 굉장히 부럽습니다, 팀 박사님.
Yeah, I think it just share some
그,
experience for
한국 참가자분들 그 상황 되신 분들은 화면 켜주시고요. 안 되시는 분들은 끈 상태로 참가하셔도 좋겠습니다. 질문이 있으면 계속 넣어주시고 제가 몇 가지 그 질문을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 1단계, 2단계 첫 번째 질문입니다. 1단계, 2단계, 3단계를 거치면서 새로운 운영이 도입이 됐는데 이것은 제도의 변화, 즉 법을 만들어서 정비를 하신 겁니까? 새로운 법 개정이 있었으니까? 라는 게 첫 번째 질문드립니다.
Yes, I think based on based on our experience, we don't have such experience, especially for different government agencies. So we have the new law for the offshore wind farm, unlike the compensation formula for the fishery association. Yes, we have the new law. And for the fishery farm compensation, we have a formula, especially for the wind farm. The formula is only for the offshore wind farm. Yes, in Taiwan we have some law or some regulation, especially for the offshore wind farm.
그거는 그 사이트 플래닝도 그 법에 포함된 내용인가요?
Yes. I think for the site planning is some kind of. I think we just for the midst of coming affair, we just collect all the opinion from the different government agents, like the midst of transportation for the navigation land, and the information from the midst of the Ministry of Defense. So we collect all the information into the map, and just make sure that some region they can have the wind farm. So there will be some rules. If they violate for the rule, means that the BOE will not send the project into the EIA review. They will be failed. They can to build the wind farm.
네, 그럼 다음 질문 들어갈게요. 그 오늘 발표해 주신 것 중에 그 인허가에 대한 부분이 굉장히 흥미로웠습니다. 근데 여기서 오늘 한국 참가 중에 한현수님이 관련된 질문을 주는데요. 한현수님 질문 부탁드리겠습니다. 한현수님 나가셨나요? 크레도의 한현수님. 안 계시면 제가 대신 읽어드리겠습니다. 그 인허가 관련해서 두 가지가 흥미로웠습니다. 하나는 입지 선정 단계에서 하고 있는 그 부처를 다 모아서 인허가하는 입지 선정 단계 때 그 부처 통합 회의가 되게 재밌었고요. 두 번째는 TWTPO라고 하는 조직, 이게 싱글 윈도우 같은데 이 조직이 어떤 역할을 하는지 굉장히 궁금합니다. 이 조직은 어느 기관 산하에 있고 규모가 어느 정도가 되고 실제로 어떤 권한을 갖고 있고 이게 궁금한데요. 여기서 저희가 덴마크의 원스톱 얘기할 때 이 에너지청이 인허가권을 다 가져온다고 오해하시는 분들 계신데 실은 가져오는 게 아니고 조정 조율하는 기능인데 이 대만의 이 TWTPO는 어떤 조정 기능인 건지 아니면 인허가권을 갖고 있는 건지 이 부분이 굉장히 궁금하고 도입하고 싶습니다.
Okay, I think the two questions. First about the saturation issues. I think for the past experience, maybe for the phase 1 or the phase 2, yes, the project. I think for some offshore project, I think a different government agent, they have the different opinion to the project. So maybe for the EIA procedure, it's not quite smooth. So for the surface, I think before the EIA, okay, we must have the joint review meetings different based on a different government agents. But you know that we must know their opinion, especially for the site issues. So the BOE will have the formal document to the different government agents. Okay, do you have any regulation or the side issue between the sea regions? So they must give some opinion to the BOE. Just mention that yes, we send all the we want the formal opinion from the different government agents to the BOE, and based on this, we collect all the information, and based on the information, we will announce to all the developers. So all the developers must follow the rules. The second issue is TWTPO. I think TWTPO is I think the BOE the DOE sponsor project. You know not for the pub we don't have much people to deal with all the issues. So the BOE was sponsor for the some research institute in Taiwan to have the TWTPO. But you know that they are not public sectors. So just mention that they only collect all the information from the different stakeholders. But they are not one-stop service window. They are not one-stop service window. They can have the permit. You know that in Taiwan also similar to the South Korea, the different government agents, they have a different regulation. They must gather some permit from the different government agents. But for the TWTPO, they can collect all the issues, maybe from the other stakeholder. So maybe they can gather some information from the local fishery association, and we will know their opinion and try to balance for the developed opinion. So maybe we can have the so-called solution, especially for some project. So I think the TWTPO, okay, they will collect all the information, but they cannot issue for the permit. The permit will belong to the other government agents based on their regulation. So I think the TWTPO is important. You know that for the public sector, we don't have such personnel. We don't have much people to collect all the information. So based on the TWTPO, okay, we can collect all the information. They can feed it for the local community, local fishery association, even for the local supply chain. Okay, we want to know their concern and try to balance all the opinion to find some solution. Based on this solution, okay, the BOE or the Ministry of Economic Affairs, we can try to communicate with different government agents because we have some solution. So, and we also study their regulation. So the solution is good for the country, the government agents. So there will be not good. It's more easy to gather the consensus in the short time because we have some study, we have some the voice based on from the TWTPO. Okay, it's my answer.
네. 역시 규제기관을 조율하는 코디네이션 기능이 굉장히 중요하다라는 생각이 들었습니다. 하나 좀 추가로 질문하고 싶은데 그 입지 선정 단계에서 부처 장관들이 만난다라고 했는데 한국에서는 입지 선정 단계 때 부처들이 굉장히 소극적입니다. 좀 더 신중하게 설계 단계에서 더 살펴보고 해보자라는 식으로 다들 또는 지금 단계에서는 안 된다라는 부정적인 의견들이 많이 나옵니다. 대만에서 입지 선정 단계 때 그게 잘 조율이 됐습니까?
I think based on for the Taiwan, we want to reach for the I think offshore energy is our flagship project. So maybe each government agent must follow the rule, but they have their professional opinion. Like I think some staff from our Ministry of the Defense, they think that they concern about the height of the turbine. If the turbine will be over the 3,000 feet, they think it's not good for their the aircraft. So they can have the opinion in that meeting. So based on this we so-called site review meeting, it's important for the Taiwan. We want all developed. There will be no the final answer in the early stage, not into the maybe 2 or 3 years. We want all developed, maybe in the early stage, less than 1 year, there will be no the final answer. If the review meeting, they have a different opinion, means the project will be failed. But I just mentioned that the review meeting, all the government agents, they have some different opinion to the project. And the means of becoming a fail, just try to coordinate all the issue and try to have some conclusion. If we think that the project will be approved, and the government agent, then they must follow the rule based on their professional opinions. They will be not file the conclusion. So I think just mention the site review meeting is important for the Taiwan, especially coordinate for the different government agencies. I think also in Taiwan, we also announced we so-called a sensitive region is important. Based on this region, all the developers, they can follow the rules. They will not put it into the region. If they have the project in the region, I think a bill will be fail the project. We will not put this project into the review meeting. And for the review meeting, I think they will talk about for the height of the turbine, they will be from the Ministry of the Defense. For the navigation lane, there will be some opinion from the Ministry of Transportation in Taiwan. So they have some professional opinion to the project. They must have some light in the turbine, or if they close to the navigation lane.
네, 다음 질문 나왔습니다. 다음은 그 어민과의 협의 관련 질문이 몇 개였는데 모아서 하겠습니다. 김태윤 박사님, 최덕환 팀장님 마이크 켜고 질문을 해주시고요. 그 모아서 저희 chen 박사님 한꺼번에 대답해 주시면 좋겠습니다. 먼저 김태윤 박사님 질문해 주시고요.
네, 안녕하세요. 문자도 적었는데요. 어쨌든 발표 잘 들었습니다. 궁금한 게 이제 협회가 있는데요. 협회 같은 경우는 아무래도 어민들을 이제 대변하는데, 저희 나라 같은 경우는 딱히 이제 협회가 이 어민들을 대표하는 대표성이 그렇게 좀 부족합니다. 그래서 협회에서 뭐 딱히 이제 우리 수협이라는 뭐 그런 협회가 있습니다만은, 그런 다양한 어민들의 이해관계가 다양한데, 이런 협회가 어민들의 대표성은 어느 정도 하고 있는지, 그리고 만약 협회에서 결정을 난 사항을 어민들이 좀 많이 따르는지 아니면 또 개별적으로 또 반대하는지가 좀 궁금합니다.
네, 최덕환 팀장님 같이 질문해 주십시오. 그 다음에 서수 선생님 지금 같이 해주고요.
예, 뭐 입지를 정하기 전에 이제 입지에 대한 부분들을 보면서 어업 보상을 하는 이런 프로세스를 좀 보이긴 하는데요. 이 어업 보상에 참여하는 이제 여러 주체들을 이제 공정하게 이제 논의를 이끌 수 있는 이런 주체가 별도로 있는 것인지, 아니면 이런 만약에 별도로 있다면 어떤 역할을 좀 하는지가 좀 궁금합니다.
네, 아주 한 사람 더 질문 같이 듣고 chen 박사님 모아서 대답해 주십시오. 선수 선생님.
네. 네, 목소리만 제가 그 화면 조정이 어려워서 일단 목소리로만 여쭤보도록 하겠습니다. KR의 선주라고 하고 현장에 있는데요. 그 주민 수용성 절차와 관련해서 어느 단계에서 그 프로시저가 있는 건지, 셀렉션 프로시저 단계에서 그러니까 EI 단계하고 셀렉션 프로시저 단계 사이에서 TWTPO가 한다고 이해하면 맞는 건지 여쭤보고 싶고요. 두 번째로는 그 보상 수준에 대한 공식이 있는 것이 좀 이상적이었는데요. 그 주민들에게 부지 사용료 등의 수익의 50%가 돌아가는 정도가 된다고 하셨는데, 그게 사업 규모 대비 평균 어느 정도 수준인 건지 궁금합니다. 이상입니다.
네, chen 박사님 부탁드리겠습니다.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your question about fishery negotiation and side planning issues. I think for the fishery communication or the fishery negotiation, I think it's not easy. It's some kind of art. How to balance for different, especially the local people, they think that, okay, they will damage their right of working. So it's not easy. So based on Taiwan's experience, okay, I think just mentioned for the phase one. For the phase one, we have the two wind farms in the north of Taiwan and in the center of Taiwan. Yes, they got some compensation from the developer. So based on these issues, so the local fishermen or the local association, they can pass all the information to the other fishery association. Okay, yes, for some region, they got some compensation from the offshore wind farm. So they can pass all the information to the other region. It's the first one. I think for the second, we know based on the first one experience, we try to just mention have the formula, especially for the compensation formula. You know, not for the case in the first one. One is okay, the local fishermen or local fishermen association, they have a different the compensation money. So I think for the public sector, it try to have some so-called formula based on this benchmarking, so they can all the develop all the fishery association, they can talk about some of the level. So yes, it's not easy, and based on the experience of the first one, we go to the second phase. We try to have the formula, and this first issues. Yes, it's not easy, but the government, the development must have some communication with the local fishermen association based on the formula. And I know that the formula, the price from the formula is the low price. So all the developers, they want to communicate with the local fishermen. They will be more than 1.5 times or the 2 times about the formula. You know, they may be about 2 or 3 times about the formula, the price from the old formula. So yes, the formula is good, so they can talk about some benchmarking price for the different stakeholder. The second issue is about, okay, if the local fishermen, they want to agree for the project, what can we do? Yes, according to our regulation, the fishermen demonstration, they have a right to be the design, the final compensation price. But at this moment, we don't do the right to have the final decision for the compensation price. I think at this moment, all the local fishermen or the local fishermen association, they will try to communicate with a developer to gather some good price of especially the compensation. And we also allow the the turbine, they can have their original fishery activities. So they can do their original fishery activities in the inter turbines. So I think it's good for the developer to communicate with the local fishermen association. So yes, according to the regulation, yes, they can the fishery administration have a final decision for the compensation price. But at this moment, we don't use the right to do the final judgment. I think it's not good for the both sides. And the other way is about how to. I think we have some compensation. We have some budget into the local government, into the local communication, even local fishery association, and the developer will pay the money. You know that for the for some rules, they must pay for the land rate for the some site. So based on the rate, the rent, so we will put some percentage, 50% to the local government, and 50% to the central government, and also based on this percentage, they can share to the local government. But for the so-called fishery compensation is the other one that belong to the rent, the land rent. It will be belong to the other one. So the fishery association is one, they have some rule, so they can gather their own money. But for the local government, local community, okay, they have the other side, and all will pay by the developer of the offshore wind developer. The final one is about side plan community. Yes, I think that for the high level meeting, the vice premier they will invite, they will ask all the government agents must join the meeting. If you have different opinion, you have the force, you must speak in this meeting. If you doesn't agree for the project, you must have the opinion in the early stage, not in the final stage. I think we have some not good experience for the Taiwan. Some developer got the right to develop, but in the final, our government agent, they have a different opinion, especially for the civil navigation issues. They think that the wind farm is not, they will be not good for the civil navigation. So in Taiwan, we have such not good experience. So for the surface, we will put the review meeting in the early stage. If all the government urges, they have a different opinion, they must speak in this region, in this state meeting. Now for the early stage, if they talk about opinion, means that the debate will be quit for the project or the fail the project. If they go to the final stage, means that they will be spend much more money in the regions. So just mention, we have such not good experience in the second phase. So for the third phase, okay, the joint review meeting will be in the early stage. before the EIM review meeting.
네, 감사합니다. 다음 질문 지자체 역할에 관한 질문입니다. 박종원 박사님, 김가람 기자님, 조은별 연구원님인데 김가람 KBS 기자님이 지금 참여가 안 되셔가지고 제가 대신 읽겠습니다. 이 입지 선정 과정에 보면은 입지 경계가 애매해서 인접한 두세 개의 지자체가 같이 들어올 때가 있습니다. 그럴 때 지자체 간 조정은 어떻게 해야 되느냐라는 게 있고요. 박종원 박사님.
아니, 그걸로 하시면 안 될 것 같아요. 그냥 말씀.
네, 말씀드리겠습니다. 정부의 입지 계획이나 입찰 절차 등 어떤 추진 과정에서 지자체의 역할이나 권한이 어떤 게 있는지 궁금합니다.
네, 그리고 조은별 선생님 지자체 질문은 지금 여기서 해주시고 아니면 나중에 해주셔도 좋고요.
네, 저는 나중에 하겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 그럼 일단 이 지자체 역할에 대해서 좀 첸 박사님 답변 부탁드리겠습니다.
Okay, I think all the question is about the law of the local government. Yes, I think for the selection, even for the bidding process, yes, we have the law. According to our procedure, all the project must sent by the local government to the central government. So they must send all the project to the central government. So I just mentioned that the local government, they are welcome the wind farm, except if the local officially association, they are not, if they don't have the different opinion, I think the local government will be welcome the wind farm in their region. Just mentioned that they can get the big amount of the money every years, especially I think they will send some about, as I know that there will be about 0.05 $0.05 per kilowatt hours to the local government. So yes, I think the local government, they will welcome the offshore wind project in their region. If the local people or the local official government officially association, they have a different opinion, they will welcome. I think it's good the budget for the every year for the local government. So just mention that yes, for the selection for the bidding, I think that the local government will welcome. If the local people, local officially association, they doesn't have a different opinion, they will welcome for the wind farm to be in their region.
네, 감사합니다. 첸 박사님, 죄송한데 우리 15분만 연장해도 될까요? 원래 2시까지였는데 질문이 계속 15분만 연장해도 될까요?
It's okay, it's okay.
네, 고맙습니다. 네, 그럼 박선아 박사님 질문 부탁합니다. 이재용 박사 제일 마지막 질문 드릴게요. 네.
아까 말씀하신 거랑 연장해서 비딩 프로세스 전에 사이트를 발굴하는 디벨로퍼가 계속 프레젠테이션에 나와서 그 디벨로퍼가 지금 BOE를 의미하는 건지 아니면 방금 말씀하신 거에 따르면 지자체를 의미하는 건지, 이 디벨로퍼, 그러니까 이 사이트를 발굴하는 그 첫 번째 주체가 누구인지 궁금합니다.
네, 감사합니다. 陳박사님 부탁드리겠습니다.
Okay. Just mention that our site will be open. So each developer, they can pick their site, even for the overlap with the other developer, will be okay. But the final bidding will got a right to develop. So, okay, they can, for some region, they can overlap. Maybe for the developer one, developer A or the B, they can choose the same site for the developer. but follow the rule. They must pass for the capability review and the final with the bidding. The price, the low price will got the right to develop. So if they are overlapping regions, okay, if the A will be low price, okay, A will got the right, and the B will fail. So they have some also called competing situation. Each one will try to have the low price because they want to get the right to develop for the wind farm. So just mention that the BOE will not pick the region and open bidding. I think for the Taiwan experience, we don't think it's a good experience. And each developer, they can, each company, each developer, they can choose some site. They think the site is good for him, is profit, so they can choose the site. But the A choose the region. Maybe the B or the C will choose the same regions. Yes, we are welcome to the competing. But the final will be who will get the price with the low price. Who will get the final right to develop with the low price. So we don't try to pick some region, but we are open. If some site they are not in the sensitive regions, we are welcome all the developers choose the same regions. But based on if they choose the same region means not okay, they are competing, maybe someone will be got the low price to get the right to develop. So I think we are open. Okay.
감사합니다. 한국 참가자분들한테 좀 설명드리면 저희가 지금 KI 내부 과제로 각 나라의 제도를 좀 조사하고 있습니다. 그래서 오늘 좀 궁금한 거 저희가 법조문이라든지 구해서 다시 전달해 드릴 테니까요. 그거 보시고 추가로 판단하시면 될 것 같습니다. 다음 조은별 연구원님 질문 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 질문이 많았는데 다음에 필요하면 따로 여쭤보겠습니다. 제가 오늘 여쭙고 싶은 거는 이 법이 시행되기 전에 해역에 이제 좀 오픈도어로 좀 들어와 있었던 사업자들이 많이 있었는지 궁금하고요. 그래서 그 사업자들이 사업을 진행하는 와중에 이 법이 시행이 됐으면 정부가 기존 사업자들에 대해서 취한 별도의 액션이 있는지 궁금합니다. 뭐 그냥 계속 사업을 진행하도록 놔두었는지 아니면 그 사업자들도 대만의 이 법에 의해서 새로운 제도들을 좀 경험하게끔 이렇게 또 따로 했는지 그게 궁금합니다.
Okay, I think it's a good question that I just mentioned that we have a new law or the new regulation. Maybe some debate will be not welcome for the new law or new regulation. I think for the new law or the new regulation, I think they will be trying to release all the restriction. I think that all the debate will be welcome the government to have the new law or the new regulation because we are open. We will be open for some restriction. So all the debate, I think if we want to have the new law or the new regulation means not okay. Some debate they just have the question to the government, the public sectors. So the public sector will try to have the solution. So the solution maybe have some new regulation to face for these issues. So just mention that the new law or the new regulation is just to release some restriction. So I think they will welcome for the new law, new regulation.
네, 감사합니다. 다음 디스킴님.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Chan. Thank you very much for your good presentation. It is very useful for us to understanding what was happening in Taiwan there. My question is a technical issue. Do you have any special regulation to adopting a project certification is as a mandatory requirement or not?
This is some kind of especially for the environmental issue.
No, actually, project certification process, it is whole entire process of wind farm offshore. So right now, Korea doesn't accept it, doesn't adopt it that regulation, just the type certification. That's it. I'm very worried about that issue. That's why. How about a Taiwan case? Taiwan does have project certification is mandatory requirement as a policy. That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think for the Taiwan we have such investigation, but we are not in. We are in the big one scale, not in the local scale.
Meaning is that all international standard, which is IEC requirement, you are following that.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are following the all the regulation, but for the Taiwan we have the typhoon, so we have some specific regulation, especially for the typhoon.
Yeah, exactly. Taiwan is one of the biggest typhoon country in the world. Everybody knows about it. But what I understanding is that Korea also saying we are typhoon direction. So that's why we are quite different between European side, Baltic or North Atlantic Ocean. It is totally different. That's why what I'm thinking is that project certification requirement, it is very important. That's why we need to adopting that one as a mandatory requirement, but still we are not. That's why I would like to know a regulation of Taiwan. What is the policy?
네, 감사합니다.
Yeah.
죄송한데 다음 시간이 있어서 다음 질문으로 넘어가도 되겠습니까? 죄송합니다.
Okay, yeah.
예. chen 박사님 잠깐 답변해 주시겠습니까? 답변해 주시고 다음으로 넘어갈게요. 그러면.
Okay, I think for the question is that I think for the Taiwan in year of 2012, yes, we don't have the special regulation or for the turbines for the climate. So for the Formosa, for the two offshore wind demonstration wind farm, they just follow the international regulation like the IEC or something like this. But I think based on this two cases, the Taiwan government maybe in Taiwan the typhoon will be the other issue. So we have some additional requirement, especially for the Taiwan climate. So I think maybe in the later I can pass some local regulation, especially for the typhoon, to your side.
예, 감사합니다. 이지혁 박사님 오늘 마지막 질문. 오늘 이지혁 박사님이 계속 섭외도 다 해주시고 고생 많이 하시는 저희 K 박사님입니다. 이지혁 박사님 마지막 질문 부탁드리겠습니다.
예, 오늘 여러 말씀 잘 들었습니다. 많이 배웠습니다. 제가 여쭙고 싶은 사항은 두 가지입니다. 그 발표자료 19페이지에 원스톱 서비스에서 장관급 회의가 있다고 하셨는데요. 이 장관급 회의를 위한 법제도가 있는지 아니면 통상적인 행정 문제인지 여쭙고 행정 문화인지 여쭙고 싶습니다. 또 한 가지만 더 여쭤본다면 19페이지 그 패러럴 리뷰는 입지 선정 단계에서 이루어지는지 아니면 사업 허가 단계에서 이루어지는지 또 여쭙고 싶습니다.
I think it's a good question about for the inter-ministry meeting. We don't have the so-called regulation. Our high-level officer, our vice premier, says that it's important. So let's just have the order. Not all the different government must follow the rule. They must have some so-called. We have a different level communication. First level will be from the bureau. We can have the meeting with the other bureau, especially for some specific topic. The second level will be about ministry levels. Miss Nada or Miss Coming Affair will have the meeting with the other ministry level meetings for some issue like the fishery association. We must have a meeting with the agricultural councils. For the navigation issues, we must have the meeting with transportation department. Okay, the final meeting will be the so-called vice premier meetings. Okay, if they have a different opinion, they must have some good reason in the meeting. So if you don't have the good reason, means not they must follow the rule to promote for the offshore wind energies. The second issue is not a parallel meetings. I think in the phase 1 or the early second phase, they will be in the so-called serious meeting. Means that they got some permission, they go to the other mission, but they will waste about maybe the 5 or 10 years. So all the developers think if the project will be over 10 years, they will not to invest in the Taiwan. So based on our mission, so how a high-level meeting means not, we must be separate to the parallel. So the developer must go to for some issue for got some permission from some government. They must parallel. I think for the parallel meeting, parallel review will be. I think there will be about 1 or 2 years got a permission. I think it's good for the developer. I think the property sector in Taiwan will have some guideline. We want to make the final decision in 2 or 3 years. If we say that the project will be not good or not suitable for the Taiwan, okay, we will have the final decision in the 2 or 3 years. We want all the developers maybe with 5 or 10 years in this region or in some project. We want to have the final decision maybe in 2 or 3 years. I think we just contact with all the developers. They must have the final decision in the 2 or 3 years. If they longer than the time, I think they doesn't have they want to have the invest for the project. Yeah. Okay.
네, 감사합니다. 오늘 말씀 들어보니까 이게 법제도만이 아닌 그 거버넌스라든지 그런 협의가 굉장히 잘 돼 있는 것 같다. 같은 아시아 국가지만 굉장히 대만으로서 우리가 배울 점이 많다라는 굉장히 좋은 경험을 선사해 주셔서 감사합니다. 오늘 짧은 시간 90분에 다 전달이 안 되겠지만.
Okay, thank you. I think Taiwan and South Korea, we have a similar energy situation. I think that we can share all the experience, especially for Taiwan. I know that in the early stage, the Fishermen Association or even Fishermen Association in Taiwan is also not to communicate. But I think that based on some maybe more time, I will go to the local Fishermen Association, try to have a good relationship with the local Fishermen Association. And they will, I think we will good for the good relation. And maybe I think Taiwan and South Korea can share some experience, especially for the new and renewable energies. Thank you.
예, 김박사님 감사하고 내년에 시간 되면 한국, 대만, 일본 심포지엄 추진하기로 갑니다. 그때 또 도와주세요. 네. 그럼 이걸로 오늘 1부 마치도록 하겠습니다.
I think maybe we can keep in touch and share some experience for the Taiwan and the EU experience. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 그리고 한국 참가자분은 2시 반에 또 다른 강의 있으니까 그때 또 와주시죠. 이것으로 마치겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
여기서 들어오셨다가
성창구가 아닌 인허가 권한을 갖는 거 하나.
네, 안통 교수님. 안통 교수님.
Yes.
네, Professor Anton, 예, thank you. 지금 아직 이거가 안 돼가지고. Could you go to the interpretation and English? There is an interpretation button in the bottom.
Okay.
Yes. And could you go to the interpretation and English for the today's section?
You mean the interpretation and then change to the English?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
예. 통역사님 이제 저기 통역 가능한가요? 통역사님, 예, 이게 관련된 PC 좀 띄워달라고 부탁드려 주시면 감사드리겠습니다. 화면 공유 아래 버튼 누르시고 공유해 주시면 됩니다.
Okay. Yes.
예, 화면을 조금
Can you see my slides?
이렇게, 예, 감사합니다. 이렇게 하면 됩니다. 예. 예, 바쁘신 가운데 이렇게 저희 발표로 또 도움 주셔서 감사드립니다. 지금은 잠깐 쉬는 시간이고요. 30분부터 발표 이렇게 간단한 제가 소개 후에 해주시면 됩니다. 오늘 바쁘신데 이렇게 참석해 주셔서 발표해 주셔서 정말 감사드립니다.
Okay, thank you.
예.
I know your presentation was a little bit delayed, so no problem.
예, 감사합니다. 그 조금씩 이게 접속하고 막 그럴 딜레이가 있었어가지고 그로 이제 정리가 돼서 30분부터 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다. 그 30분 정도 발표해 주시고 1시간 정도 질의응답하도록 하겠습니다.
Okay, no problem.
맛있겠습니다.
그래서 출근하세요.
1분 후에 2부 순서 진행하도록 하겠습니다.
몇 명 들어있어요?
56명입니다.
음소거 해주세요.
예, 이제부터 제2회 해상풍력 글로벌 다이얼로그 대만편 2부를 시작하겠습니다. 저는 한국환경연구원의 이재혁입니다. 바쁘신데 참석해 주신 모든 분들께 감사드립니다. 특히 대만 칭화대 The Institute of Law for Science and Technology 안통 교수님에게 깊은 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 앞으로도 지속적인 교류 부탁드립니다. 한국은 해상풍력 추진에 있어 많은 어려움을 가지고 있습니다. 가장 큰 어려움은 입지 선정 과정이 있습니다. 이에 덴마크, 네덜란드 등 유럽은 센트럴 방식으로 정부가 입지를 선정하고 입찰을 하는 방식을 취하고 있습니다. 아시아에서도 대만, 일본은 이러한 텐더 방식을 도입하고 있습니다. 그런데 한국은 사업자가 입지를 선정하는 방식을 현재 유지하고 있습니다. 한국 정부는 작년에 외국과 같은 텐더 방식을 도입하고자 하고 있습니다. 한국의 관심사는 크게 4가지입니다. 텐더 제도의 주요 내용 및 정부의 역할, 두 번째 입지 선정 과정에서의 배제 기준, 세 번째 이해 당사자 협의는 어떻게 하는가, 네 번째 인허가 효율화 방안은 있는가, 싱글 윈도우는 또 적용해야 된다면 어떻게 적용해야 하는가입니다. 대만의 사례를 배워보고자 합니다. 예, 안통 교수님께서는 이 해상풍력에 대해서 또 재생에너지에 대해서 많은 논문과 또 책을 쓰시고 또 특히 법제도에 관해서 많은 연구를 해주고 계십니다. 예, 그러면은 30분 정도 발표를 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. 예, 부탁드립니다. 안통 교수님 발표를 부탁드립니다.
Question of the chairman. Yes, yes. Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
네, 잘 들립니다.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. It's strange.
Yes, okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hey,
You
hello,
can start.
Hello. Okay. Oh, okay. Because I'm not sure. Okay, and thanks for the invitation of the KEI, and I think that this is also my great opportunity to share my research interest on the rule of law and the observation on Taiwan's offshore wind power sector. And as you can see from the title of my presentation, I try to highlight is actually Taiwan looks as if a very ambitious and a very attractive model in the world. But the problem now, I think now Taiwan is also suffering from the lack of rule of law problem. So it's affect this kind of long-term investment security. So I would like to highlight to elaborate on several points during my presentation. And in the past few years, as you can see here, I attend several public hearings in the parliament, and I try to advocate the rule of law in the offshore wind power sector, because as far as I know, in this area, particularly among all of the renewables in the offshore wind power sector, there would be, I think it is the most capital intensive sector among all of the renewable energies investment. So that's why I think if you want to promote the offshore wind power sector, then there is a need to have a very stable long-term legal framework to assist the realization of the project. And as you can see here, this kind of public hearing, they are not just organized by the opposition party. Some of them are also organized by the ruling party member of the parliament. So that's why I think from my point of view, both of the member of the parliament actually they are very supportive to this kind of very high level of rule of law in promoting offshore wind power. And I think in the December 5 years ago, and I also tried to help to organize this event to advocate the need of the special law to promote offshore wind power, just like Japan or Poland or the Dutch and the German. But unfortunately, because as you know, next year the government start to launch the offshore wind power selection and the tendering scheme in mid-2018. And there was an election in 2018. So that's why the government decided to ignore the rule of law and to proceed the project tendering. And today, actually, my central point to the rule of my today's presentation is, I think the more rule of law actually is the better for the long-term investment security. But this looks very simple, but in fact, it's very difficult to be realized in reality, because in terms of political party, usually they have this kind of fixed schedule to allocate the development to the developer. Perhaps they have this kind of private discussion with the developer about this kind of schedule to launch the project. So usually the government tended to want to promote the project in a fast way instead of this kind of careful way to consider the need of the rule of law, and also, just as the chairman just mentioned, the fishery compensation issue, all this kind of negotiation with the fishermen. And that's why I think this is not good for the long-term investment security. And today, actually, the KEI just gave me several questions. So I think I'll start with this question first. And in terms of the background, I think you are now trying to facing the conflicts when a business operator selects a location, and you would like to know about the situation about this kind of planned location system in Taiwan. And from Taiwan's experience, as you can see, in Taiwan, I suppose you already saw a lot of this kind of development maps, and so it looks as if we adopt a planned location system, but actually it's not as careful as Japan or Netherlands or Denmark and maybe Germany, UK. And because before the publish of this kind of development map, actually we don't have this kind of very careful strategic environmental assessment beforehand, just like in Germany and in UK. So that's why in our 2050 policy, in our 2050 map, as you can see here, you can see here, actually we didn't subject this map to a very careful SEA. So that's why you can see a lot of conflicts from the fishermen, from the environmental NGO, and even the developers. And that's because this map actually they are lack of this kind of cross ministerial participation. How did I say that? As I think that's in your previous session, you already hear the talk of the division head of Chen Chongxian, and Chen Chongxian actually he always like to boost the success of Taiwan's offshore wind power sector. But actually, as you can see, these two maps actually they are just published by the Bureau of Energy. As you know, Bureau of Energy is an agency under the Ministry of Economic Affairs. And as you can see, and on the top, we still have the executive year, and that's the cabinet. So that's why we always say, if this kind of map, development, if this kind of map is published just by a very low-level officer with no authority over the marine spatial planning, of course, you can know in Taiwan, in a country, usually the Ministry of Economy Affairs, they don't have authority over the money spatial planning, so they don't have power to publish this kind of map to guide the investment, as long as they got certain authorization in the law. But in Taiwan, this kind of Bureau of Energy, very low level authority, they just propose this kind of idea and just publish the map to divide the country's ocean. And that's kind of very strange in my view. And I think this actually last year in the same direction, actually they adopt a very similar approach. So they just try to include certain zone, and they don't subject this map to this kind of co-ministerial participation. So it's also lead to a lot of big problems, as I show here. For example, BOE has no authority over this issue. So and there is no legal effects from this kind of map. So that's why, and this kind of direction is not legally binding to other ministries. So it's also lead to a lot of real problem. As you can see here, this is the WPD, and a lot of controversial over their sites in 2018. And because of excuse me, okay, sorry, no problem. Yeah, because of the fire security issue, this project is unable to secure the consent. Oh, this is the consent, sorry about my typo, from the Civil Aviation Authority for 23 times since the October 2015. So as you can see here, even though you pass the EIA, a project, you pass the EIA, you will reward the development right in 2018, you still cannot get the permit. So you can see this kind of map actually it is useless in the reality. And the reason why they don't get this kind of consent is because this project actually it's a conflict with another major project, this kind of the third runway, because as you know, airports are like the Incheon airport. So that's why we want to build our third runway. And as you can see, there is no way that this kind of third runway project, I think this is a very long-term project. So I think they already know the project when they did the right allocation in 2018, but still they just give the development right to the WPD, and the land aviation authority just reject their consent. So you can see this kind of very odd situation in Taiwan. And also there is also another big problem is another. I'm not so sure if you know about the LV. LV actually was very specialized in this kind of floating wind power, and actually the LV applied to build offshore wind power outside the 36 zones in the 25 in this map. And but interesting is the LV still got the how to say the pre-permit to do so and proceed with the EIA. And the interesting is actually because in Taiwan, if you want to get the entrance tickets to the 28 to the tendering and the selection in the 2018, then you need to get a EIA permit by the end of 2018. And because they fail to get this kind of entrance tickets, so they are unable to participate in the selection and the tendering process. And you can see here. And the problem is, in my view, LV case, LV this kind of floating wind, and this is the best project among all of the 10 gigawatt project at that time, because they just use the origin feed-in tariff and to develop the first demonstration project for the floating wind power. And secondly, I think the floating wind has less this kind of environmental impact concern, or also the conflict with the fishermen, because the floating wind you can move all the time, and if they have a problem with the local fishermen, then it is easier to move a little bit further or deeper, and then it would be very good to avoid the controversial. And in my view, actually, I try to provide a certain legal advice to the LV private, and I say actually you can sue the government for this because they have no standing to reject your project. But of course, they decide not to move forward, and they just withdraw from the Taiwan market. And I think that the KEI also would like to know if in Taiwan we got this kind of single window policy. And I think this kind of one-stop shop, usually I think in English they refer to the one-stop shop, but I know in Taiwan and in Korea, because of language, so we like to talk about a single window. And this kind of one-stop shop actually has long been urged by a lot of literature and a lot of country. And as you can see here, this is the example from the Denmark. And they got the Danish Energy Agency, they play the role of a one-stop shop. So if you want to apply license, you only apply to one window. And in Taiwan, I know, I suppose during your study, I think you find out how to say, a website with the name of single window, and this is the offshore wind power single surface window in Taiwan. And actually, but the problem is actually this kind of single window is actually run by the think tank, just like a KEI, and in Taiwan it's run by the E3, another very big think tank in Taiwan. And so it just looks as if this is a single window, but actually it's not, because it's a lack of public this kind of authority, or this kind of public authority or administrative power to enforce lots of how to say legal power. But so in reality, I always call it looks like a shutter, because once you have a lot of single window, then it looks like this. And why I call that, because in Taiwan, we actually, if you want to have a project going, then you should receive 70 big documents, different permits or documents from at least 14 authority. And here, actually in here, I didn't include if you want to do the marine engineering, then you need to get extra permits. So that's why a lot of marine engineering companies, actually, they are suffering from the lack of rule of law in Taiwan, because I got several foreign friends working in this area, and they always complain why originally they don't have this kind of requirements, like the forbidden of a Chinese vessel, the made in China vessel. And now they just say, okay, you cannot do that unless you pass the national security review. And then you can see this kind of extra review. Actually, it's not included in the original these documents. I suppose you already get this information before. And actually, these are actual requirements to do the marine engineering in Taiwan. And I suppose you consider, okay, that's the end of the regulatory nightmare now. No, actually it's not, because in Taiwan we adopt a very different form of environmental impact assessment. If there is any modification to the EIA, then you should submit the project to the review. So that's why you need to if you have for example, you change the wind turbine or you change the location, and then you should submit to the review, and then you should get the approval again. So that's why a continue propose if they want to modify a project, then they need to get a review again. And usually the review is very, very bothersome. Of course, you are going to pass ultimately, but it's create a lot of uncertainty during the process. For example, the environmental NGO, the representative from the environmental NGO, they may provide a certain, they can add several extra conditions, and it will mean additional cost to your project. So that's why this kind of EIA modification is another very important bothersome requirement during the process. And also, the local content requirement change review. As you already know, in Taiwan, we try to enforce the local content requirements. And if you want to exempt from such requirements, then you need to submit your proposal to to a review committee, and to change the content again. So that's why also, if you want to release the shares of the project, then you need to be reviewed by certain committee. So that's why I think it is all evidence that these are all good evidence of the lacking of this kind of rule of law and the legal certainty in Taiwan. And in terms of the planning system, actually, I would like to highlight that here. And I think this kind of planning system actually is very popular in European country. And I think the essence, the essential part, the very important part of this kind of requirement is they try to use the SEA, strategic environmental assessment, and to involve this kind of public, and to try to include the controversial sites beforehand, and that's very important. And as you can see here, they also try to, in European countries, they also try to adopt this kind of gradual megawatt each year in Germany. And as you can see here, they try to divide the coastal zone of a country into different space area, and they try to do the SEA 1, SEA 2, SEA 3, and even you can see in SEA 2, they got the SEA 2 extension as well. And they try to develop the project gradually instead of very rushed, just like Taiwan. And actually, in terms of the Taiwan story, I would like to let you know that you should not rely on the data from the 4C offshore, because 4C offshore data, they are changing all the time. And as you can see here, this is the information 8 years ago, and they try to highlight that Taiwan, as you can see here, a lot of flag of the Republic of China, and that's Taiwan, and then they always say Taiwan is a very good site for offshore wind power, but actually for some of the project, actually it's not, and because we are in Taiwan, we lack of the local wind resource detecting tower, or we are lack of the data from the local data. So that's why we have to rely on the 4C offshore data. But as you know, the data from the 4C offshore, actually they use the remote technology. So that's why they are not they were not very precise actually in reality. And also another problem of the lack of site planning is I can use this slide as an example. And as you can see, a huge amount of sites actually they are located outside the Zhanghua County. And why I put a picture of a very big river there, and looks very dirty. And because that's the biggest river in Taiwan, we call it the name actually is 浊水溪, and that means very dirty river. The biggest river is a very dirty river. And why it's so dirty? Because it's a lot of, how to say, mud and a lot of this kind of sand were in this river. So that means a lot this area actually that's a very maybe on the top for the offshore. That's a very good site for the offshore wind power. But you have to look at the seabed, and because the problematic area is the seabed. So that's why in this area, and as far as I know, a lot of insurance company they are quite concerned with the geological situation of this kind of area. So that's why, and the third question is that actually the KEI try to see if we consider the kind of environmental impact assessment or the evaluation criteria. Okay, I try to say that actually in terms of this kind of site selection criteria, in my view, I would prefer the Ministry of Interior Affairs. That's another ministry, and actually it's the original marine space authority. But the problem in Taiwan here is now the BOE just try to design this kind of selection map, and also and they try to set the criteria as the EPA permits. So that means for the developer they choose a site. And if this site, they can get the EIA before certain deadline, and they are going to get the pre-approval of the development right. So you can see this kind of very tangling situation of the Ministry Economy Authority and the Environmental Authority, and the original Marine Space Authority is silent about this situation. That looks very odd in my view. And in terms of the EIA selection criteria, so that's why I am talking about the situation before the 2018 and the situation before like in mid this year. And because this kind of the EPA, they don't want to the Environmental Protection Administration, they don't want to play the how to say the barriers for the project. So they just let go of most of the project. So you can see here, almost all projects just passed, except for the LV case, and maybe you heard about another TGC, but I'm not going into detail today. And in terms of the selection criteria as the time of the bidding, I suppose you already saw this kind of requirements, like as technical capability and a very detailed distribution of this kind of numbers, 60%, 25%, 20%, 50%, 40%, 30%, 10%. And the problem actually is usually it is review results. So we don't know, actually, we don't know which project actually the detail of the criteria of each project, unlike the EIA review. And actually, in my view, this kind of review committee, it's kind of illegal. Why? Because in Taiwan, usually the review committee, if you want to have the power or the authority, then you need to have the legal basis to confer the right to this committee. But in Taiwan, we don't have this, and that's why I think. And the most problematic part is now all of the review results in the proposal. For example, as you know, a lot of projects passed in 2018, and actually they already changed all of the project detail. For example, the size of the wind turbine, the local content requirements, all the release of the shares, all I think all of these kind of review results in the 2018 actually they already be changed. I think most of in most of the project they already changed, and so that's why I think this creates a very good environment for the developer. So you can see it's very attractive because they are feel free to leave Taiwan. For example, even Taiwan company, Taiwan developers, Swanco, they just release on 100 shares and just leave, and then now in Taiwan we face a serious project delay. So all project delay and without any penalty. And of course now, as you know, in Taiwan we are very reliant on our local content requirements. Is very reliant on the Korea steel makers, SK, and very important, very interesting. And in terms of I would like to quick elaborate on the rule of law situation in Taiwan. And as you can see here, in Taiwan, we only have legal basis for the feed-in tariff. And in terms of the legal basis for tendering, selection, money, spatial planning, capacity allocation, actually there was no legal basis to do so. And as you can, certain ABC on Taiwan's administrative law system, and I suppose in Korea you are pretty much the same. And we got primary legislation, that's a statute, and you got the secondary legislation, that's an administrative order. And usually the reauthorization is generally prohibited by the constitution. But in Taiwan, you can see only the green area, that's the primary legislation and the secondary legislation. But in Taiwan, we got huge this kind of illegal third level, fourth level legislation. And I think that's why I always say it's kind of like a rule of law. And in terms of final remarks, I suppose you are very concerned with this news, and I suppose we can have more discussion later. But the all state decided not to submit to the round 3. And why? And I think now lots of a lot of ideas and the discussion. And of course, I can provide a certain as my comment from the legal point of view. I think the legal certainty is very problematic because Taiwan just moved from the feed-in tariff back to the tendering, and the tendering is not very good for the investment security of this kind of big developer. And I think this kind of special law for the offshore wind power, of course, that would be very good for Taiwan. And I will a stable legal framework to attract the investments. Then you got to have the kind of special laws for the offshore wind power. But that doesn't mean there is no winners. I think for investors, as you can see here, I think the winners and the good news so far, I think this kind of lack of legal basis, that's a very good news for offshore wind power developers and for the supply chain and for the early shareholders. But there are also some bad news for the electricity users in Taiwan because we pay very high feed-in tariff, but for nothing. And also, I think it will create the problem for the banks and the insurance company because the project, now we are facing a very serious project delay for all the project. And also, if you buy the shares in the later stage, for example, the developer just release the shares and then you buy it, and you don't know when your investment will be sunk by this kind of unstable situation. Okay, thanks for your attention, and I'm looking forward to your comments on this. Thank you.
예, 발표 감사드립니다. 정말 많은 것을 배웠습니다. 그 법이 제대로 되어 있지 않을 때 이제 겪는 문제들에 대해서 많이 이야기를 해 주셨는데요. 사실 그 대만에도 관련된 재생에너지 법은 있는 것으로 알고 있고 또 BOE 내부에도 다양한 조례들이 있는 것으로 알고 있습니다. 그런데 지금 어떤 점들이 굉장히 그 현재 사업체들한테 또한 또 어민들한테 안 좋게 되고 있는 건지 다시 한번 좀 어떤 법제도의 허점이 있는지 다시 한 번만 좀 설명해 주실 수 있으실까요? 또 관련된 질문 있으신 분들은 아래 계속 채팅창에 올려주시면 감사드리겠습니다.
Okay, I think because you mentioned a lot of different sectors, and from the developers' point of view, actually, I think at the time of attending public hearing in the parliament in 2017. And at that time, actually, that's the time a lot of foreign developers, they already the step of working in the foreign development. That's the time for them to went back to travel back to their Europe to enjoy the Christmas. And but the problem at that time is Taiwan decide to introduce the local content requirements. And as you know, actually, you mentioned about the renewable energy law in Taiwan, and it was passed in 2009, and actually in the original design of the 2009 Act, there was no local content requirements, and actually at that time they don't have to do to receive the demand by after the tendering. That means if they are willing to build up a renewable energy facility, then they can award the feed-in tariff. They are qualified for the feed-in tariff. So that's why, but in the 2017, and at that time, because too many projects, as you know, too many projects, and then the government decided to introduce the local content requirements and also the tendering scheme, or you may heard the selection scheme at that time. And no matter under which name, it means you cannot award feed-in tariff until you pass certain, you pass the review process. So there is a huge difference between before and after. And of course, as you know, there was no legal change at that time. So it's a, how to say, it's led to the panic of the developer, because they originally they think they only have to how to say to build up a project and then they can get the money. But now it's not the case. They have to pass another review. And so that's why I say the legal certainty is very important. And actually in 2017, there was not any no passed, but this harsh requirement. And in terms of the fishery compensation, that's quite a very similar story. Actually, I was involved in the National Energy Program team since 2009. And actually, we were the legal team in charge of most of the legal developments. But the problem for the kind of compensation formula for the fishery sector, I suppose you heard about this. There was a formula published some time ago, and actually, as a legal professor or in this team, I always, how to say, oppose this kind of formula, because I think this kind of formula is the kind of not actually they from the formal reason, it's a lack of legal basis to do so. And from my substantial point of view, I would think this kind of formula, how to say, would create a lot of uncertainty for a project. And I think one of the reasons why Australia decided not to invest from the request of the Fishermen Association. Of course, they got a formula, but you still have to pay something on the table. So it's create a lot of uncertainty. I hope I reply to the question of the moderator.
예, 감사합니다. 다음으로 조홍장 박사님께서 질문해 주신 내용이 있는데요. 예, 제가 먼저 말씀드리고, 말씀을 간단히 드리도록 하겠습니다. 현행 계획입지 입찰 싱글 윈도우는 법적 근거가 없는 건지요? 법적 근거가 없이도 운영할 수 있는 것이 좀 흥미롭습니다. 또 TWTPO라는 원스톱 기능을 하고 있는 조직에 대해서 들었는데, 여기에 대해서는 좀 어떤 조직인지 교수님 보실 때 좀 어떤 조직인지 설명해 주실 수 있으실지요. 그리고 하이 레벨에 있는 부처와 협의가 입지 선정에서 진짜 이제 실제로 이루어지고 있는지요. 요거에 대해서 좀 여쭤보고 싶습니다.
Okay, well, there are lots of questions. Maybe I'll try to answer, but if something is missing, please let me know. Sorry. Yeah, and of course, a lot of you will consider it's very interesting to see that there are so many this kind of lack of legal basis problem for almost everything. And let me go to this slide. Yeah, you can see, yeah, there are lack of legal basis, and I think, and why the system is still functioning, and that's why I think it's because the developers. Actually, I tried in the past few years, I tried to compare this situation, this offshore wind power sector situation with also other industry in Taiwan, like a pharmaceutical or this kind of high technology industry, and because in other sector, because they want to have this kind of very long-term investment situation with Taiwan, so that's why they are very usually at the beginning they will lobby very hard for a stable legal framework, but the problem with the offshore wind farm sector or the renewable energy sector, they kind of like use the baseball, they like a hit and run, and that means they just maybe they don't want to have this kind of very long-term relationship with the local industry, and so that's why they have to listen to the government. And the government just say, okay, I want to change this rule, and then if you don't comply, then you are free to leave. And because they want to stay with Taiwan until the time they receiving the certain extent of the development right. And I'm not so sure if you are very familiar with the very detailed pipeline of offshore wind power project, and actually, different milestone, they have the chance to sell, to release their shares and to profit, and they decide to be in enemy with the government in 2018, then they are going to lose all the investment. So they have to wait until they get a certain right, and then they start to do the share release. So that's a lot of country and developers strategy. They just get the PEIA, and as you know, in PEIA, it's how to say, you need to spend a lot of money to do the environmental impact assessment in Taiwan, and to do a lot of this kind of site investigation. And as I just mentioned, because in Taiwan's government, the Taiwan government didn't conduct a lot of site investigation for the developer beforehand. They just like, and unlike UK or in Germany, so they had to spend a lot of money to do this kind of geological research, this kind of thing. So if you didn't wait until certain time, then you are going to lose all of the profit. So that's why they just patient and wait until the getting some the development right in 2018, and then after receiving the right, and then they sign the power purchase agreement with the Thai Power, and then they are able to get some money from the bank, and then some of the project they start to run away. They start to release the shares and run away. And so that's why I think, because the project completion, so they are not very care about the rule of law situation. So that's why, but maybe that's the first question to this kind of why there is a lack of the rule of law situation, but most of them, they don't complain. Yeah, because it give a lot of room for them to maneuver, actually. And about the question about the selection. I'm not so sure. Can you repeat the question about the selection again?
예. 예, 입지 선정 단계에서 하이레벨 부처와 협의가 어떻게 이루어지고 있는지 좀 여쭈었습니다. 메모장이 채팅창에 있습니다. 하이레벨 부처와 입지 선정 과정에서 실제로 이게 협의가 이루어지는지에 대한 것입니다.
Yeah. I know. I suppose. You raised a very good question. But actually, in Taiwan, actually, of course, we got a higher level, how to say, authority among all the ministry, and we create a special office called, I think it's called the Energy and the Carbon Reduction Office in the cabinet. And usually the role of this kind of office, special office, they are in charge of this kind of community participation. But the problem is usually, as you can see from the Guanyin project, the problem of this project, of course, they try to intervene, but it is very difficult for them to how to say, to reconcile with this kind of third runway and the radar interference from the offshore wind power, because that's a scientific question. So that's why, even though this kind of very high level office, they try to intervene this kind of map, but the problem is because because usually this kind of, how to say, it's very difficult to I don't know how to say, because usually the civil servants in different ministry, they are very abide by the rule of law. So if they cannot give the green light, then they are not going to give that, and you cannot use this kind of higher administrative power to force them to accept that. So that's why this kind of, there is no way to sacrifice the flight security and safety just for the offshore wind power. So even under a lot of pressure from the top and the aviation administration, they still reject the project. And of course, each time during the rejection process, and this kind of special office, they will hold a meeting, but still law is the law. So that's why I don't think this kind of a higher authority would be very important during the process, particularly this very special office. They don't have a legal basis to do anything. They are not being conferring any legal power. They just have the time to do this kind of unofficial intervention. Yeah, that's my answer to this.
네, TWTPO라는 원스톱 기능을 하고 있는 기구가 있다는 이야기를 들었는데요. 여기에 대해서 좀 이 기구는 어떤 기구인지 좀 여쭙고 싶습니다.
Wait a moment, I need to check what is TWTPO. TWTPO. Okay. Oh yeah. That's I know. Okay. Then I'll move to this. This is this is here. Oh, okay. That's a TWTPO. Yeah, here. I just mentioned. It looks as if so. That's you mentioned TWTPO, and that's the website of the TWTPO. And the TWTPO actually, that's as I can just translate these words. That means wind power single surface window. And actually, this website is run by E-Tree. the industrial technology and the very big energy think tank in Taiwan, run by E3. And actually, it's actually in the nature, it's not how to say, this kind of single stop window. As you can see in Denmark, there must be a authority to confer the right by the legal basis as a single one-stop shop. So you cannot use the research project. Usually this is a research project. You cannot a research project to confer legal power to think tank or to a website. Yeah, I hope this is clear for you. And I know that the professor Mr. Chen Chongxian, he always like to say in Taiwan we got a lot of one-stop shop, but actually it's not in terms of the legal nature. Yeah. Yeah, I hope I reply your question. Yeah.
예, 그럼 다음 질문 하도록 하겠습니다. 그 KI에 계신 김태윤 박사님께서 질문을 해주셨는데요. 대만 국회에서는 해상풍력 입지 선정에 얼만큼 참여를 하는지요? 국회에서 반대하는 정당은 없는지 궁금합니다.
Can you repeat the last part of your question again? I think now it's a kind of very interesting situation in Taiwan, and actually I think both parties actually they are kind of very pro the offshore wind power development, and I'm not so sure if what kind of information you heard from your side, because from the international media, usually it will say the DPP, the ruling party, is promoting the offshore wind power very heavily, and the Kuomintang, the KMT, the opposition party, and they oppose the offshore wind power, but actually it's not that simple. Because in my according to my observation, and this kind of local content requirements introduced by the ruling party can be related industry or related industry. So that's why I think so far why both the ruling party and the opposition party they don't want to have a very clear rule of game is because they want to be benefits. Both of them want to benefit under this kind of very ambiguous rules. So if there is a very ambiguous rules, and one just can propose certain certain new requirements, and then the developer will find some people to lobby for this kind of new additional requirements, and it will create a lot of this kind of I don't know how to put it, a lot of money flow, but a lot of money flow during the process. So that's why I think both of parties now actually they are benefited by this kind of lacking rule of law situation so far. And I think for the developers, of course, as you know, in Taiwan, our feed-in tariff was very high, 2 times of the average of the global average. And that's why they don't complain about it, because if there is additional requirements, they can still affordable. And so that's why they don't against this kind of rule of law situation. But this situation will be changed in phase 3, because in phase 3, the tendering price is very low. That means they don't have a lot of margin to pay to this kind of additional requirements, I would like to say. Yeah, I know some of your people, you know this kind of situation, right? Yeah, if you got a lot of profit and they can certain uncertainty, you can accept that. But if you just got very low revenue margin and there is very little room to have this kind of legal uncertainty or regulatory uncertainty.
예. 감사합니다. 그 다음으로는 그 박선아 박사님, 카이스트 박선아 박사님께서 질문이 있으셔서 직접 질문해 주시도록 하겠습니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 박선아라고 합니다. 그 발표 잘 들었고 저는 코멘트 겸 질문을 드리려고 합니다. 그래서 전체적인 문제점을 많이 말씀해 주셨는데 한국과 굉장히 비슷한 것 같다는 말씀을 드리고 싶고요. 그 한국에서도 뭐 에너지법이 좀 재생에너지에 잘 맞지 않는 상황이 있고 LCR이 없고 그 해상풍력 과정에서 20여 개의 법을 개별적으로 검토하는 좀 그런 상황에 있고 그렇기 때문에 통합적 해상풍력법을 작년, 재작년 계속 논의를 하고 도입하려고 하고 있는데요. 그 박사님께서 말씀하신 바에 따르면 오히려 해상풍력법을 도입했을 때 다른 기존에 지탱하고 있던 20여 개 법과 상호 보완이 되면서 잘 운영이 되기가 좀 쉽지 않은 것 같아요. 그 제도적인 불안전성이라고 말을 하셨는데 한국이 지금 그런 개별적인 법의 배열 상태에서 통합적인 해상풍력법을 도입하는 그 과정에 있어서 조금 그 대만에서 했었던 시행착오, 그러니까 시장 충격 관련해서 그런 부작용을 조금 줄이려면 저희가 어떤 점을 유의해야 되는지 궁금합니다. 아니면 다르게 질문하자면 만약에 이 새로운 해상풍력법, 통합적인 법을 도입하기 전 시점으로 돌아간다면 어떤 법의 어떤 점을 가장 좀 네, 개선을 했을지 그런 질문을 드리고 싶습니다.
Okay, thank you. And may I raise a question to you? And who is going to be the single window authority in this kind of new acts, in this new wind power acts? Which authority? I'm not so sure if
한국에서도 아마 에너지부, 에너지부는 아니고, 네, 산업부가 아닌가요? 국무총리실 산하기는 한데, 네, 국무총리실이요.
최덕환 팀장님께서 조금
Okay.
예, 운영하는 사무처는
Okay.
예, 모티에서 산업부에서 이제 하지만 여러 부처가 모여서 의결하는 기구는 국무총리 산하의 풍력발전위원회가 이제 하는 방식으로 지금 법안은 꾸며져 있는 걸로 보고 있습니다.
Okay. If that's the multi, then I think you will face how to say the problem of the involvement of the environmental and the spatial planning authority, in my view. And of course, and I think now I want to do some okay. Sorry. I'll back to the original question, and I'm very glad to know that you are going to draft a spatial laws to promote offshore wind power, and try to follow the Germany but the problem is because now I'm not I didn't know about the detail of this kind of draft bill, because usually the devil lies in details, and that's very important. So that's why I don't know the details, so I can just provide my comment on this. But in my view, it's always better to have special laws than the situation in Taiwan. And but law usually, as you just mentioned, law cannot change everything. Yeah, I also admit that because it's a kind of you always have to know the different ministry. They got their central position. They got their different opinion towards one project. So and when you create something and this kind of one-stop shop, and usually you cannot change the bureaucratic culture in one night. So that's why I think there will be a lot of difficult to do so, of course, in the future. But at least you try to use the kind of legal basis to confer the rights to single authority, and that's a very good first step, because according to my research, not so many countries or the government dare to do so. Yeah, usually they just let this situation just stay there, just like in Taiwan. We know this kind of a lot of documents, permit situation, everybody knows, not to face that, because as you know, in Taiwan, usually the mayor of the local government belong to the different party of the central government. So and they got their, how to say, during the permit, they can get certain profits. So if you just put all the permits in one authority, of course, different authority, they will oppose to this kind of idea. And but in South Korea, at least you start to say, no, you are not going to use this kind of different interests to affect the national interests to promote offshore wind power. So you put this idea in the legislation, and of course they can, and they can start to find their different panel and channel for profit from the project instead of the old way. And I think this kind of culture change actually is still good for the developer, because for developer they only have to face the authority of multi to do everything, and I think that's still a good starting point to do so. Yeah, that's my evaluation, because I didn't know the detail of the law, but of course, if you got this kind of English translation, I would love to provide my comment on this, because I'm quite familiar with the WINSA 2017. That's the Germany Offshore Wind Power Act, and that's a very good act. And I'm not so sure if the Korea version is a translation or translate a lot of material from the Germany Offshore Wind Power Act. And if that's the case, and that's also very good. But as far as I know, in the Germany Offshore Wind Power Act, they confer the rights to the BSH, that's the Marine Space Authority, instead of the Economy Authority Ministry. Yeah. Yeah, I hope I answer your question.
네, 그 말씀 잘 들었습니다. 예, 요거는 좀 전에 김태훈 박사님께서 물어보신 질문인데요. 어민들과 협의는 어떻게 진행이 되는지도 여쭙고 싶습니다. 어민 대표는 어떤 사람들로 좀 구성이 되고, 또 어떠한 단계를 거쳐 협의가 이루어지는지 여쭙고 싶습니다.
In terms of the fishery negotiation, actually, during our research period of the National Energy Program, we visited several fishery associations and to talk to them. And of course, I'm not the professor in charge of the kind of fishery negotiation. And but in that's a very as far as I heard, that's quite a painful process. And in Taiwan, actually, I try to how to say elaborate the question in a more legal way. And of course, in Taiwan, we got a lot of very strong fishery association, because this kind of fishery association, usually they are very influential in the political election and a lot of this kind of process. So that's why usually the local mayors, they or the developer, they cannot ignore their influence over a project. So and even the how to say, police force, they dare not to intervene this kind of process. So I would like to give an example several years ago, and I'm not so sure if I think in 2014, and there was a project they want to install a developer. They want to install a wind speed tower in certain area, and of course they got the permit from the authority to do so. But still, their construction vessel was surrounded by a lot of fisher boats, and so to prevent them from the installation works. And some of you may wonder, if they got the permit, then they can apply to the authority to how to say to how to say to avoid this kind of situation. They can just use the legal power or this kind of police power and to keep their construction going. But in the end, actually the government, they are not to intervene and just to let this kind of fishermen or fisher boats to, I don't want to use the word, but it's kind of like a blackmail, a legal project. A very legal construction works, and that's the situation in Taiwan. So even the developer, they got the permission to do certain construction works, but if they don't get the approval or the kind of approval of the certain local people or even NGO, and they will go out to do this kind of protests. And they can use this kind of protest to how to say to stop a project. And of course they during the process, if they apply for the police force to intervene, and usually the police force just will stand by and look, and they don't intervene for a legal project. And I'm not so sure if that's also in Korea. You got very similar situation, because as far as I know, Korea is very famous for this kind of protests and a very violent protests. And I'm not so sure if you got this kind of very serious protests on the sea, because I only saw on the TV, and you got lots of very serious protests. And I'm not so sure if you got very similar problem. And if you can elaborate more, then that would be. I would like to provide my viewpoints on this.
예, 우선은 궁금증이 어느 정도 해소가 되었습니다. 또한 이익 공유와 관련해서도 질문이 있는데, 이게 복수 지자체가 이제 이해 당사자로 이렇게 해당이 되는 경우가 있습니다. 그 해상풍력 단지와 관련된 지자체가 쭉 연결이 되는데, 이런 경우에는 어떻게 좀 조율이 이루어지고, 어민 이외의 시민단체 의견은 어떻게 좀 반영을 하시는지도 좀 여쭙고 싶습니다.
I think usually, I think so far in Taiwan, the situation is quite simple because I think this kind of, usually this kind of, I would say, this kind of project, usually most of the document I just show you, the 70 documents of the documents are issued by the central government, except for one. We got a special permit from the local government. We call it a local consent documents issued under the Electricity Act of Taiwan and under the Electricity Act. And so that's why the government, usually the local government, they only have a say during during the process of issuing this local consent letter. And so if a lot of projects located in the Changhua area, in the sea area of Changhua, and that means the Changhua government, they have to issue a lot of this kind of local consent letter. And as you just in terms of this kind of local consent letter, you can see that's a very empty consent from without a very clear guidance to issue this kind of consent. And it exists in Taiwan for a long time. And I think the main purpose of this is to let the local government have some say over a project. And but the problem is for this kind of local consent letter, I think a lot of foreign developers, they are not they cannot understand this letter as well. And even the law professor like me, because in my view, if a project you already under a very close scrutiny of the EIA, and you got a very serious scrutiny of the cost management and a lot of this kind of process, then for the local government, actually they don't have, they cannot intervene a project going forward, because moving forward, because all of the concern during the project already well considered. But in Taiwan, because this kind of political reason, so they always let the local government have some say. So we use this kind of local consent letter, and of course it's also create a lot of uncertainty for the developer, because the local government can just say no, and they say no, I don't want to give you the local consent, and for what reason? I don't have to explain my reason. I can just reject your project, and maybe they just say, oh, because of environment. And usually so far actually no developer they dare to challenge this, because that's a very important document for them to get the electricity pre-generation permits, and then to sign the power purchase agreement. So usually they just try to use all of their resources to get the permit, to get the local consent letter. That's the situation in Taiwan. But I'm not so sure if you got very similar situation, because a lot of in terms of this type of community support fund, I think in South Korea, in Japan, in Taiwan, we also got similar scheme. This kind of community supporting fund, that means the electricity generator, they pay something to reward the local community, the location of the power generation sites. And we got this kind of culture. And in Taiwan now, actually part of the fishery compensation actually came from this kind of public community supporting fund. So there is no way to
감사합니다.
please, please.
네. 다음으로 이제 저희 연구원 서원주 연구원님께서 질문이 있으셔서 말씀해 주시도록 하겠습니다.
네, 네. 그 셀렉션과 텐더링 개념 자체가 좀 헷갈려서 여쭤보고 싶은데요. 두 개념 전부 다 그 대만 정부 주도의 프라이드 로케이션이라고 하는 거에 일환의 절차인데, 셀렉션은 사업자 간의 경쟁이 없는 단독 입찰이고, 텐더링은 여러 사업자가 경쟁하는 그런 입찰, 경쟁을 하는 경우를 의미하는 게 맞는 건지, 아니면 셀렉션의 경우에는 일종의 오픈도어 프로세스 같은 개념으로 이해하면 되는 건지 궁금합니다.
Okay. Yeah, I think this kind of selection, the use of the term of the selection and the tendering is very difficult for you to understand. And I think in one of my article, I try to mention that actually in the rest of the world, you only have either FIT or the tendering. And because usually the FIT is no price competition, no cap for the project. And in terms of the tendering, usually you got to have a cap, and then you have a price competition, right? But in Taiwan, we use the selection. That means we don't have a price competition, no price competition, but we got a cap for this kind to limit the development. So you can see the cap and the selection process is kind of a mixture of the elements of the capitalist FIT and the price competition tendering. And so that's why usually for outsider from the Taiwan or maybe a lot of foreign demand, they cannot understand why we use the wording of selection, but in my view, I prefer you, of course, to use the selection because it's different from the FIT and the tendering. And I hope you can understand it's different. And the tendering, the selection means the criteria to determine a project is not based on the price and based on 100% non-price factors. Let me check. Here, yeah. For the tendering, you can see for this 100%, they are not there is no price factor here during the selection process. Yeah, I hope you can understand. And if not, then maybe I can show you with my article. or please feel free to send me the email or to text me on the LinkedIn.
Thank you.
예, 다음으로 박종문 박사님께서 질문이 있으신데요. 그 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 질문 드리겠습니다. 대만에서는 지역 주민이나 어민들 대상으로 정부나 사업자가 어떻게 협의나 소통을 하는지 궁금합니다. 예를 들어서 한국에서는 환경 영향 평가를 수행하면서 사업자가 설명해야 하는 절차가 있는데요. 입지 계획 때 정부는 어떤 방식으로 소통을 하는지, 또는 그 후에 사업자는 어민이나 다른 이해관계자에게 어떤 방식을 사용해서 협의를 하는지 궁금합니다.
Yeah. That's a very good question because I'm not so sure if if you heard the story about a lot of foreign developers, actually, they got a lot of frustration when talking to the local fishermen in Taiwan. And I'm not so sure if you in Korea, these giant developer like Austin or these kind of big players, they got this kind of popular. And as far as I know, usually this kind of local community and the local fishermen association, local fishermen, they got their own political network. So if you want to influence it, you cannot just sit in the capital city, just like in the beginning, when they first came to Taiwan in like 2015 or 2016, like 7 years ago, and they just think I can live in the Taipei city, and I just travel to the Zhanghua area, the mid Taiwan, and this kind of very local area, and dress very well dressed, and then talk to and host a meeting with them. And then afterwards, I back to Taipei and to finish my job. And actually, that's not a very good communication. So afterwards, I think after 1 or 2 years later, or maybe 3 years later, they start to hire the local. They start to establish local communication office there, and then they try to send the people to stay in the local area for certain time. Because you have to understand the local culture and the local residents, what they think, and maybe to get familiar with their ideas. And of course, I'm not so sure if that's the situation in South Korea, but in Taiwan, I try not to use this word, but in Taiwan, if you use the Chinese character to search the Google, then if you use the word the mafia and the local fishery, then you will get some search results. So that means the local situation is very complicated. And then if you want to have a good relationship with the local people, then you need some time to warm up the talk. Otherwise they will, this kind of local force, they will block a project. And another bad story or bad lesson from Taiwan is the competition of the fishery compensation from different local government. For example, I think the TGC is a very good example for this. TGC was the project developed for one demonstration project in Taiwan, and it's a fail to build up a very good relationship with the local people. And one of the reasons is the competition of the fishery compensation among different communities. For example, in North, in Miaoli area, and they propose higher local compensation, and then the local fishery conservation in Zhanghua area, they request for similar compensation, this kind of higher compensation. So this kind of raise to the higher compensation among different community, local community or local counties would be also a very big problem for a project, because you don't have a very standard form of this kind of compensation, and some developer will use this as a weapon to attack the other project, but they didn't know that, because they just want to have the acceptance for certain location, certain local area, but they each will create different compensation price benchmark for other community. Yeah, I'm not so sure if I reply your question, and I try to reply your question in two different ways. Yeah, with the two different points.
예, 감사합니다. 그리고 기후솔루션의 조은별 연구원님께서 질문 올려주셨는데요. 직접 질문해 주시면 감사드리겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다. 좀 기초적인 질문인데요. 이게 Q&A를 하다 보니까 더 좀 헷갈려지는 것 같아요. 그러니까 대만에서의 해상풍력 입지 선정의 주체가 정확히 누구인지 궁금해요. 그러니까 정부가 주도해서 공공의 주도로 입지를 선정한 다음에 사업자 입찰을 하는 것이 그럼 아닌 건가요? 그러니까 혹은 사업자가 입지를 물색을 하고 뭐 보상과 환경영향 평가를 포함해서 여러 인허가를 TWTPO를 거쳐서 받는 건지, 그런데 또 이 경우에는 또 텐더나 뭐 이런 건 어떻게 하는 건지 너무 헷갈리거든요. 그래서 이걸 좀 명확하게 말씀해 주시면 너무 감사하겠습니다.
Okay. Oh, so sorry, I didn't provide a lot of detail about this kind of very detailed site selection because I thought the Chen Chongxian, the previous speaker, already provide a lot of information on this. And I think the most important document for the site selection is these two documents. And the first one is used for the selection, the famous selection and the tendering process in 2018. Yeah, and the on your right hand side, on your right hand side, and this map is used for the current site selection. And actually, in terms of the first one, actually, I have no idea why they propose this kind of map. And usually it's and of course, from the in my view, both of these maps actually they are very rough. I would say they are very rough. Why? Because in both maps, the essential idea is very simple. They just try to ask for the information from other ministry to see if there is the conflict use. And if there is conflict use, they are not going to use. But the problem is they just use. So that's why you can see on the right hand side, you can see a lot of Chinese characters. And as you can see this, for example, certain area is the soil pollution control zone, or you can see some of the area are this kind of the direct transport area for between mainland China and Taiwan, and there are some natural reserves area. So they just try to avoid certain area. But I think in terms of the offshore wind power, the most important criteria for development of offshore wind power is, and you can see if you go to the map of the Germany, this kind of spatial plan for the Germany is at the North Sea, you can see very detailed criteria on the right. And what is very important is first, if this area is with very good wind resources, that's very important. So if you choose a site and the wind resource is not so good, the Germany is not going to put a large area on the map. But in Taiwan, yes, it's possible. You are going to put a wind turbine in the area with very cool wind resources, because we don't use the wind resources as a very important criteria. If the seabed, this kind of geological condition is not very good, and in other countries they are not going to put this area in the development. But in Taiwan, of course, we will do so as well. So that's why I think that this kind of site map, what I try to answer is actually it is just a collection of data from different ministries, I'll call it. So the BOE just say, okay, I try to ask the Ministry of Culture. I try to ask the Environmental Protection Agency. Okay, so if I put the wind turbine in petition, the conflict use of the land use. So they just use the conflict of land use. And if not, and they will put the area in the map. And that's all. And what's the difference between these two is that because in the previous version they face a lot of protests because one development they may choose one side and the other side is not good, and the government now is worried they may face some responsibility. So this time they just say you are free to put the wind turbine in any area, not exclude in these zones. So they just try to highlight all of the conflict use area. That's all. So you can see for the first version, they try to have 36 zones, but this time they don't have any zones. And I think that's kind of I don't think that's this kind of the backwards of this kind of site planning process, and even worse and even rougher, even more rough. Yeah. I hope I reply your question.
저도 이어서 질문해도 될까요?
네, 예, 하셔도 됩니다.
짧게 합시다.
아, 네, 그거 이어서 질문인데 그 앞에서 셀렉션과 옵션이 있다고 들었거든요. 근데 지금 뭔가 자세히 보니까 이 36개 구역으로 나누어져 있는데 그 중에서 그걸 할당받은 회사들이 있는 것 같고, 근데 셀렉션인데 그걸 할당받지 않고 사업을 한 사업자도 있는 것 같고요. 옥션인데 옥션 4개가 다 할당을 받았어요. 그래서 이 셀렉션과 옥션의 차이가 지금 특히 입지 선정에 있어서 차이가 있는 건지 제가 아직 저도 이해를 못하고 있어서요.
Yeah. I know your problem. Yeah, I know your question. Yeah. Actually, in Taiwan, I think it's very hard for you to understand is that actually we try to divide the development stage into different stages. And the first stage is, for example, in 2015, you can see the map on the left hand. And at that time, the government just proposed this. And so every developers, they are free to choose an area. For example, as you know, a lot of developers for all states choose a lot of this area as their preference. And actually, of course, we use this area of site selection, and that's a different selection, different concept from the selection and the tendering. The selection and the tendering is the process to determine if you can construct the project in this area. But in terms of the site selection, I would call it more like a site investigation permit. So that means you can pick a site first, and then you start to do the EIA and to do the sites, the geological situation, and start to do the EIA. And afterwards, if you can get the EIA permits by the end of 2017, and then you are going to get the entrance tickets to be qualified to be chosen as the developer during the selection and the tendering process. So I would not call it the site. Mainly, I use the site selection kind of confusing, and it's more like a site investigation permit. So at the big, so I hope it's the answer your question. Stage one is decide and is this location how to say the qualification for you to investigate the sites, and in terms of the selection and the tendering, that's about the money or the subsidy. You are competition for the subsidy competition. Yeah, that's a two different process. One is about the land and the marine space, and the one is about the subsidy. The other is about the subsidy. Yeah.
예, 오늘 대만 해상 풍력의 현황에 대한 솔직한 이야기 안통 교수님께서 해주셔서 정말 감사드립니다. 저희도 공감 가는 바가 너무 많습니다. 정부는 무언가 하는 것 같은데 사실 근거법도 없이 시행되다 보니 어려움이 많습니다. 앞으로도 한국의 해상풍력 효율화를 위한 법제도를 연구하는데 안통 교수님과 지속적으로 연구 협력을 하고 싶습니다. 또한 오늘 이 자리에 많은 분들이 참여해 주셨는데요. 바쁘신 가운데 그 해상풍력에 대해서 관심 갖고 또 법적 효율화에 대해서 이렇게 많이 도와주시는 분들께 감사드립니다. 그럼 이것으로 오늘 세미나는 마치도록 하겠습니다. 다음에 또 연락드리겠습니다. 안통 교수님 감사합니다.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening. Bye.
아니 나중에 그 질문 나온 거 지금 다 이거 세이브할 수 있어. 음소거 좀 해주시고.
감사합니다. 고생하셨습니다.
감사합니다.
아쉬운 건 다음 기회에 뒷부분이었습니다. 어렵네요. 말들이 어려서 헷갈리게 해서 죄송합니다. 하여튼 뭐 다음번에는 일본 한번 불러서 할 거고요. 이게 한 번은 안 되는 거 같아요. 덴마크 할 때도 덴마크도 몇 번이고 했는데도 계속 새롭게 발견되고 하는데, 그러면서 오늘 대만도 1탄으로 생각해 주시고 또 앞으로 계속 2탄, 3탄 내년도 계속 이어가겠습니다.
일본은 현지 가실 거면 저도 데려가십시오, 박사님.
아니 일본이 지자체 역할이 큰 나라가 일본인 것 같아요.
네네.
대만도 얘기 보니까 별로 지자체 역할 없는 것 같고.
네.
그리고 아직까지 결국 싱글 윈도우에 대해서는 다 생각이 다 다른 거 같죠. 이거는.
일단 중앙에서 뭔가 조정하는 매개가 좀 없는 느낌이 좀 들긴 합니다. 제가 봤을 때. 예.
우리나라는 멀티플 윈도우를 국제학회 논문 쓸까요? 멀티플 윈도우.
예.
네.
오늘 고생 많으셨습니다, 다들. 예.
특별히 할 말씀 있으신 분 있으면 말씀해 주셔도 좋고요. 아니면은 마무리하겠습니다. 어떠세요?
고생 많으셨고요. 마무리하시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 예.
예. 감사합니다. 다음에 뵙겠습니다.
감사합니다. 예.
나갑시다.